introduction, and invitation. In the heart of a fading twilight, when shadows stretch long and the air hums with whispered secrets, a soft yet compelling voice beckons you. Yes, you, the intrepid wanderer seeking refuge from the mundane. Welcome, dear adventurer, it intones, its words heavy with promise and mystery. This is no ordinary night, nor is this a mere recounting of fables. It is an invitation to step beyond the veil of the everyday, to journey deep into a realm where ancient legends intertwine with the pulse of your own hidden desires. Picture this. You awaken in a snug, enchanted burrow, where the gentle murmur of a distant thrush replaces the clamor of a restless world. Outside your window, a delicate cascade of golden light caresses the dew-kissed earth, hinting at secrets concealed beneath the ever-changing hues of dawn. Here, in this sanctuary far removed from the clamor of modern life, lies the fabled Shire, a land that sings with the voices of timeless lore, where every stone, every blade of grass, bears the weight of countless stories. As you rise from your slumber, the cool caress of the morning air stirs memories of distant battles and whispered prophecies. The comforting aroma of freshly baked honey cakes, perhaps even a hint of apple tart, mingles with the mystique of long extinguished embers, weaving a tapestry of both warmth and wonder. It is a moment of quiet contemplation, a solitary pause before the inevitable march of destiny calls you forth. With your cloak wrapped tightly around your shoulders, you step out into a day that promises both serenity and strife. The path ahead is not one of simple meandering. It is a winding road, etched with the footprints of heroes, and haunted by the echoes of ancient laments. Every step on the cobbled path resonates with the silent roar of forgotten battles and the tender hum of unspoken hopes. You cannot help but wonder, what hidden perils, what sublime marvels await beyond the next bend? In this realm, the mundane transforms into the magical. The familiar faces of your kin, the gentle hobbits who call this land home, are not merely content with a life of simple pleasures. Deep within each of them, there is an unquenchable yearning, a spark of rebellion against the quiet solitude of their pastoral existence. And tonight, as the evening deepens, that spark is about to ignite into a blazing conflagration of adventure and heartache. Tonight I invite you to share in this journey, a journey that begins with the soft rustle of leaves underfoot and blossoms into an epic saga of valor, despair, and redemption. Together, we will wander through the peaceful lanes of the Shire, where every humble hobbit, every whispered legend, holds a secret worth discovering. We will traverse from the idyllic dawn to the tumult of legendary battles, where dark forces clash with a relentless fury, and where even the smallest among us can alter the course of fate. Imagine yourself cloaked in mystery and determination as you listen to the stirring cadence of ancient tales. Picture the fleeting moments when the Shire's gentle beauty is punctured by a sudden gust of foreboding wind, an omen that the tranquil surface hides deeper, turbulent currents. For within this land of quiet charm lies a hidden strife, a conflict as old as time itself, where inner turmoil and external chaos merge into one. What compels you, dear listener, to heed this call? Perhaps it is the thrill of the unknown, the tantalizing promise of secrets buried beneath layers of myth and memory. Perhaps it is the allure of ancient heroes, whose names echo through the corridors of time like a forgotten lullaby. Or perhaps, most profoundly, it is the yearning within your own soul, the quiet, persistent desire to transcend the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. I ask you now, are you prepared to cast aside the comforts of familiarity and embark on a quest that will test both your courage and your heart? Can you feel the electric thrill of destiny coursing through your veins, urging you to step forward into a world where every moment is imbued with epic significance, every breath a testament to the resilience of the spirit? For once you cross the threshold of this realm, you will be enveloped by a narrative woven with the threads of wonder, pain, beauty, and peril. Let the path unfold before you like an ancient scroll, its lines etched in the ink of forgotten kings and whispered in the winds of time. With each step you take, a new chapter of this grand saga reveals itself, a story that is as much about the battles fought in distant lands as it is about the quiet, inner struggles that shape every heart. This is a tale of isolation and communion, of light flickering against the encroaching darkness, and of the eternal dance between hope and despair. So, gather your courage and steel your resolve. Embrace the unknown with open arms and a curious spirit. For tonight, you are not merely a passive observer, but an essential part of this epic journey. A journey that promises not just to entertain, but to transform. Welcome to the adventure that will echo in your dreams long after the final word has been spoken. Welcome, dear adventurer, to a night of magic, mystery, and the enduring power of legend. The dawn in the Shire arrives, not with the clamor of a waking world, but with a gentle, almost reverent serenade, a soft, melodious song by a lone thrush, its tune floating on the cool morning breeze. As the first light of day slips over the horizon, it reveals a land steeped in an ethereal stillness, where every element seems to pause in anticipation of the unfolding day. You stir slowly beneath a quilt that has been carefully woven over countless serene mornings. The fabric, soft and comforting, holds the faint, lingering warmth of the night, a delicate memory of embers long since spent, but not forgotten. The quilt's patterned hues, reminiscent of ancient tapestries, evoke images of storied lineage and hidden legends, inviting you to imagine that even the simplest objects here are steeped in history. Outside, the world awakens with an unhurried grace, instead of the discordant clamor of coastal gulls or the harsh cries of distant cities. The only sound is that of the thrush's clear call, a song so pure and unspoiled that it seems to echo from a time when magic still roamed freely. This single enchanting note resonates deeply within you, stirring an inner calm that contrasts sharply with the tumultuous world beyond the Shire's borders. The air itself is a quiet marvel, cool yet imbued with the faint, comforting scent of smoldering embers. It carries the promise of renewal and the subtle hint of mystery, as though it holds secrets of long-forgotten battles and whispered dreams. There is an unmistakable sweetness in the aroma drifting from a nearby kitchen, a tantalizing blend of freshly baked honey cakes and perhaps a touch of spiced apple tart. These scents merge with the cool, crisp air to create an atmosphere that is both inviting and enigmatic, a sensory tapestry that speaks directly to the heart of this enchanted land. Every detail of this morning seems designed to awaken your senses. As you push aside the heavy cover of sleep, your eyes open to a landscape bathed in soft golden light. The dew on the tender blades of grass sparkles like tiny jewels scattered across a vast green carpet, and the flowers in the garden unfurl their delicate petals as if to greet the day with quiet jubilation. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated beauty, one that beckons you to savor the fleeting magic of a Shire morning. Outside your humble dwelling, the world is transformed by an almost otherworldly clarity. The trees, with their ancient, gnarled trunks and lush, whispering leaves, stand as silent sentinels, guarding secrets of ages past. A gentle breeze stirs, carrying with it not only the refreshing coolness of the early day, but also the faint rustle of stories waiting to be told, a reminder that in this peaceful haven, every sunrise brings a promise of adventure hidden within the ordinary. In this enchanted hour, time seems to slow, allowing you to fully absorb the beauty and serenity that surround you. The rhythmic, soft chirping of the thrush weaves through the still air like a lullaby, a sound so delicate and unassuming, yet imbued with an undeniable power to captivate the soul. It is a melody that lingers, echoing the deep, unspoken magic of the Shire itself. As you rise and step towards the window, you pause to drink in the full spectacle of the morning. The interplay of light and shadow casts an ever-changing pattern upon the worn wooden floor, a silent dance choreographed by the hand of nature. Here, the boundaries between the mundane and the mystical blur, inviting you to explore the hidden depths of a world that is as rich in lore as it is in simple, pastoral beauty. There is a subtle magic in these early hours, a quiet promise that despite the struggles and darkness that may lie beyond these borders, there is still a sanctuary of peace and hope in this moment. Every breath you take is filled with the purity of life and the gentle assurance that you belong to a place where legends are born in the soft light of dawn. This morning in the Shire is more than just the start of a day. It is a sacred ritual, a daily renewal of the bond between nature, magic, and the hearts of those who call this land home. It is a time to savor the quiet joys, to let the soft melodies of the natural world wash over you, and to prepare for the journey that awaits beyond the comforting embrace of these familiar hallowed grounds. So, as you stand in the gentle glow of this magical morning, allow yourself to be swept away by the calm and mystery of the Shire. Embrace each sensation, each delicate note of nature's chorus, and know that in this serene yet subtly enchanted dawn, the promise of epic adventures and ancient secrets is just beginning to stir. The gentle warmth of the morning spills into the hobbit home like a cherished secret as you settle into the rhythm of an unhurried breakfast that feels both timeless and tender. In the snug heart of your cozy dwelling, the table is already set with care, each piece of crockery worn with gentle familiarity, every plate and mug whispering tales of past celebrations and quiet, everyday miracles. Before you lies a simple yet exquisite repast. Thick slices of freshly toasted bread, slathered in rich golden butter, a generous dollop of blackberry jam, its deep ruby hue, promising both sweetness and a touch of tart mystery. And atop it all, a perfectly fried egg with edges crisply defined, the yolk soft and inviting, as if it holds a hidden sunrise within. Beside these delights, a steaming cup of strong, sweet tea radiates comfort, a beverage so finely balanced that its aroma mingles effortlessly with the faint, lingering notes of the hearth's embers, still whispering memories of warmth from the night before. As you cradle this cup in your hands, you notice the chipped rim, an imperfection that brings a small, affectionate smile to your lips. It is not a flaw, but a memento, a reminder of that one hurried morning when a clumsy tumble and a burst of laughter left the mark of impermanence upon your favorite mug. That chipped rim is a symbol of life's delightful unpredictability, a tangible reminder that beauty often lies in the imperfect, in the small stories that make each day uniquely yours. Just as you savor the first sip of tea, a familiar, mischievous sound echoes from the doorway. A knock, light and urgent, breaking the gentle cadence of your morning solitude. "Are you awake, dear friend?" comes a voice, imbued with warmth and a spark of playful mischief. You set your tea down with deliberate care, and with a quiet chuckle, make your way to the door. Opening it, you are greeted by the sight of Tomlin, Brandybuck, his wide, impish grin lighting up his face, eyes alight with restless energy that seems impossible to contain. Tomlin's attire is as casual as his manner. His vest coat hangs loosely, his hands tucked nonchalantly into his pockets, as if he carries the ease of a life free from worry. "Good morning," he exclaims, his tone both teasing and sincere. "I hope you're ready for a little adventure, even if it's just a jaunt to the market." His arrival, as always, brings with it an unmistakable sense of buoyant disruption, a delightful counterpoint to the serene calm of your own morning ritual. His presence is a promise of light-hearted banter and a subtle hint that even the quietest days can hide surprises. "I was just thinking," Tomlin adds, stepping closer with a conspiratorial wink, "that no day is truly complete without a bit of proper mischief and a helping of second breakfast. There is an instant, unspoken bond in that moment, a shared recognition that life in the Shire is meant to be enjoyed slowly, savored like the rich, lingering taste of the tea before you. The gentle clatter of his footsteps and the easy camaraderie in his voice lend an air of anticipation, as though this simple knock on your door is the prelude to an unfolding story of unexpected delight. As you invite him in, the familiar creak of the wooden door seems to echo with the promise of shared secrets and soft-spoken adventures. The room, filled with the soft light of a new day, takes on a life of its own, a gentle stage set for moments of intimacy, laughter, and a touch of daring. Tomlin glances around, his eyes taking in every cherished detail. The neatly stacked books that speak of quiet nights of reading, the worn rug that cradles the memories of countless footsteps, and even the chipped mug that now stands as a beloved relic of the past. With a light-hearted sigh and a playful shake of his head, Tomlin remarks, "You know, my friend, there's something about a morning like this. It makes you believe that even the smallest adventures can lead to the grandest tales." His words, simple yet laden with the weight of quiet wisdom, resonate deeply in the still air, inviting you to let go of any lingering sleepiness and fully embrace the magic of the moment. In the gentle glow of the Shire's dawn, amid the lingering aroma of honey cakes and the soft murmur of contented sighs, the bond of friendship is reaffirmed. The cozy breakfast becomes more than just a meal. It transforms into a celebration of life's small wonders, a reminder that every shared moment carries the seed of an epic story waiting to be told. Thus, with a heart warmed by both the tea and Tomlin's infectious cheer, you prepare to step into the unfolding day, knowing that in the simple act of greeting morning, you are also embracing the promise of adventure, a promise that will carry you through the quiet beauty and the hidden perils of a world that is as enchanting as it is real. Stepping out of your cozy hobbit hole, you find yourself embraced by the brilliant kiss of the sun, a gentle reminder that the world beyond your familiar walls teems with life and adventure. Each step on the soft, dew-laden path sends a ripple of anticipation through your heart. The tranquil memories of your snug morning yield to the vibrant call of the day, inviting you to venture toward the bustling marketplace of Hobbiton. The air outside is alive with the delicate hum of activity. The once silent streets now brim with the voices of neighbors, friends, and wanderers, each adding their own note to a living symphony. As you stride forward, the landscape unfolds before you like a well-worn tapestry, rolling green hills, dotted with clusters of wild flowers swaying in the gentle breeze, and ancient oaks standing sentinel along the winding road. The rustic charm of the Shire beckons with the promise of both familiar comfort and hidden wonder. At the marketplace, the scene bursts into vivid color and motion. Winding stalls, their roofs draped in checkered cloths of red and white, create a patchwork of quaint, bustling spaces. Vendors call out in friendly tones, their laughter mingling with the soft clatter of wooden carts rolling over cobblestones. There is a palpable sense of community here, a dynamic contrast to the serene solitude of your home. Every booth seems to tell its own story, a display of freshly picked fruits, a collection of hand-carved trinkets, or the inviting aroma of baked goods still warm from the oven. As you weave through the lively throng, the scent of fresh pipeweed, a favorite of many a hobbit, wafts gently through the air, mingling with the sweet, tangy fragrance of seasonal berries and the earthy perfume of freshly turned soil. This olfactory chorus, so distinctive and grounding, fills you with a quiet joy. It is as if the marketplace itself is a living celebration of life's simplest pleasures, each aroma an echo of the Shire's deep, storied past. The rhythmic cadence of friendly chatter fills the space, a tapestry of voices exchanging news, laughter, and subtle hints of long-forgotten lore. A stout farmer debates the price of a sack of potatoes with a quick-witted trader, while a cluster of children, their giggles like tinkling bells, dash between the stalls in a game of hide and seek. Every conversation is a small adventure, each interaction a window into the heart of hobbit life. As you stroll along the winding paths between the market stalls, your eyes drink in the scene, vibrant baskets brimming with freshly harvested produce, intricately patterned cloths fluttering in the breeze, and the gentle clamor of a community that has weathered both the mundane and the miraculous. Here, the everyday is extraordinary, a vivid reminder that even the simplest moments, when seen through the lens of wonder, can spark the flame of epic journeys. In one corner of the marketplace, a jovial vendor offers samples of a tangy, aromatic cheese crafted with the utmost care, while nearby an elderly hobbit, his face etched with years of quiet wisdom, shares a knowing smile with a young couple. Their exchange, filled with unspoken memories of yesteryear, resonates with the deep-rooted sense of tradition that defines this land. The entire scene is both bustling and intimate, a delicate balance of collective energy and personal connection. Each step you take further dissolves the boundary between the sheltered intimacy of home and the vivid sprawling mosaic of communal life. It is a journey that awakens all your senses, the warmth of the sun on your back, the soft murmur of friendly voices, the rich tapestry of smells and colors interwoven into every corner of the market. This is Hobbiton at its finest, a living, breathing emblem of resilience, creativity, and the unyielding spirit of community. Yet, amid the merriment and cheer, there lingers an undercurrent of anticipation, a subtle hint that the mundane and the magical are inextricably linked in this land. The marketplace, in all its vibrant glory, serves as a prelude to the epic tales yet to be unveiled, a gentle reminder that behind every friendly smile and every humble stall lies the potential for adventures that could alter the very fabric of destiny. And so, as you meander through the market's winding paths, savoring each delightful moment, you feel the quiet pulse of something greater, an echo of ancient legends and the promise of destiny's call. In the vibrant heart of Hobbiton, every sight, every sound, every scent coalesces into a singular stirring melody, a call to embrace the wonders of life and to prepare for the journey that awaits beyond the familiar, where epic adventures and profound mysteries lie in wait. With each heartbeat, the world of the Shire opens before you like a timeless invitation, urging you to lose yourself in its beauty and to discover the secrets that hide just beneath the surface of everyday life. In the heart of the bustling marketplace, the Shire unfolds like a vibrant painting, a living tableau bursting with color, sound, and the quiet hum of daily life. Every corner reveals a new vignette, a fleeting glimpse into the myriad stories woven through this enchanted land. Here, under a sky painted with the soft hues of an ever-optimistic dawn, life dances to its own timeless rhythm. Children dash about with impish glee, their laughter ringing out as they weave through clusters of market stalls. One particularly mischievous group has discovered an unattended barrel brimming with fresh potatoes. With sly grins and a shared sense of daring, they tiptoe closer. In a moment of playful mischief, little fingers swiftly relieve the sack of its starchy treasures, potatoes pilfered with the innocent audacity of youth. Their giggles, punctuated by the crunch of fresh produce, add a spontaneous beat to the market's symphony. Not far from this youthful caper stands a fruit and vegetable stand that overflows with nature's bounty. Here Daisy burrows, her hands adorned with gentle lines of age and wisdom, moves with a practiced grace, carefully polishing apples until they gleam like polished rubies. She stacks golden pears into neat, inviting pyramids, each fruit a small testament to the season's generous harvest. The air is alive with the sweet, fresh aroma of ripened fruit, mingled with a subtle, herbaceous note from the nearby stall, where bundles of aromatic pipeweed hang in rustic bunches. The fragrance of pipeweed, earthy and slightly spicy, drifts lazily on the breeze, evoking memories of long, leisurely afternoons and the quiet relaxation that only the Shire can offer. A few steps away, the market reveals another colorful character, Smaug, the enthusiastic cheesemonger whose passion for his craft is as palpable as the aroma of aged blue-veined cheddar he proudly displays. With a flourish that borders on theatrical, Bodo extols the virtues of his latest creation, a crumbly white cheese said to be sourced from the far reaches of the South Farthing. He offers generous samples to anyone willing to listen, his voice animated and filled with the delight of sharing a secret treasure, the sparkle in his eye as he describes the cheese's subtle flavor notes and its perfect melt over a toasted slice of sourdough transforms this simple exchange into a miniature epic, as if even a humble dairy delight holds a story of valor and legacy. Amid these animated scenes, the marketplace thrums with subtle humor and gentle banter. Tomlin, ever the lively spirit, strides past Daisy's stand, his eyes twinkling with mischief. He greets a nearby vendor, Primrose Tuck, with a warm, teasing smile. "Good morrow, Miss Tuck," he quips, in a tone that is equal parts affection and playful reproach. Primrose, known for her keen eye and no-nonsense demeanor, retorts with a light-hearted admonishment, a reminder that in the Shire, sweet words may charm, but they do not a payment make. Their exchange, brief yet sparkling, with wit encapsulates the ease and camaraderie that binds this close-knit community. It is a moment that seems both fleeting and eternal, a shared joke that lingers in the air, like a whispered promise of more delightful surprises to come. Every encounter in this vibrant scene is imbued with its own unique flavor. Vendors and patrons alike share knowing glances and quiet nods, each interaction a small brushstroke in the grand tapestry of the Shire's daily life. A grizzled farmer, his hands roughened by years of honest toil, engages in a spirited debate with a savvy trader over the price of a sack of potatoes, a conversation marked by hearty laughter and a deep, unspoken respect for each other's work. Nearby, an elderly hobbit offers a piece of freshly baked bread to a young couple, his kind gesture a gentle reminder of the enduring bonds of community that flourish even in the simplest moments. The marketplace is more than just a place of commerce. It is a dynamic stage where everyday life meets the timeless spirit of adventure. Each colorful encounter, whether it's the impish potato pilferers or the spirited banter between Tomlin and Primrose, contributes to a mosaic of moments that hint at larger epic undercurrents. These small, intimate vignettes invite you to pause, to smile, and to wonder how such seemingly ordinary moments are threads in the greater mysterious fabric of destiny. Here in the lively heart of Hobbiton, every laugh, every exchange, and every burst of natural beauty is a quiet herald of the adventures that lie just beyond the familiar. The vibrant energy of the marketplace, with its blend of humor, community, and understated magic, is a stirring prelude to the epic journeys that await. Journeys that will transform simple encounters into legends and everyday moments into stories of everlasting wonder. In the midst of the marketplace's lively hum, a sudden pause in the flow of chatter draws your attention to a figure unlike any other. Standing at the fringe of a crowded stall is a dwarf whose presence commands both curiosity and a subtle hint of foreboding. His weathered face, etched with lines of countless hardships, is partially obscured by a battered, hooded cloak. A tangled, unruly beard cascades down his chest, and his eyes, though narrowed with age, burn with an inner fire that hints at secrets long held and adventures long past. He stands alone, clutching a map so tattered it seems almost too fragile to be real. The parchment is smeared with dark stains and watermarks, and its edges are frayed, as if it has been passed through many hands and many dangers. Mutters escape his lips in a low, gruff tone, each word barely audible above the marketplace's lively din. Cursed maps, they lead not to mere fortune, but to peril beyond reckoning. He mumbles, almost to himself, as if reciting a prophecy from a long-forgotten lore. Your curiosity is piqued as you approach. The dwarf glances up, his eyes reflecting a momentary flicker of wary hope mingled with sorrow. "Ah, you there," he grumbles, his voice rough like gravel, yet tinged with a secret invitation. "Come, take a look. You might just be the one to decipher this mess." With deliberate slowness, he unfolds the ancient map before you, its intricate runic symbols and crooked lines telling a tale of lost treasures and hidden dangers. He explains, in a hushed, earnest tone, that the map is said to mark the route to a long-forgotten trove, a promise of fortune buried deep within treacherous lands. "There's gold," he rasps, "and relics of old, treasures that even the boldest of our kin have only dreamed of. Yet be warned, every step marked on this map is a step into the unknown, a path lined with curses and riddled with the dark whispers of the past." His words send a shiver down your spine as you begin to sense that this simple piece of parchment might be more than just a guide to riches. It could also be a harbinger of doom. The dwarf's dialogue is interspersed with frustrated gestures. At times, he fiddles with the map as if it were alive, its surface wrinkled and shifting with the secrets it holds. "Cursed fate," he mutters repeatedly, "always leading us astray with promises of fortune. But mark my words, every coin of treasure has its price." His tone carries an ancient melancholy, as if the map has witnessed tragedies too numerous to recount, a silent witness to lost lives, shattered dreams, and the echoes of battles fought long ago. You notice that despite his gruff exterior, there is a profound weariness in his gaze, a deep understanding that every quest for treasure in these lands comes at a steep cost. His hands, calloused and trembling ever so slightly, trace the faded ink that outlines the crooked route across uncharted lands. The map's cryptic symbols and jagged lines evoke images of shadowy forests, perilous mountain passes, and hidden caverns where danger lurks in every corner. With every word, the tension in the air thickens. The promise of fortune mingles with the unmistakable scent of impending peril, drawing you into the mystery like a moth to a flickering flame. "Many have tried," the dwarf confesses, voice low and burdened with regret, "and many have vanished into the mists of legend, never to return. Yet if you dare to follow these markings, you might just unearth secrets that could change the course of our fate." His words hang in the air, heavy with both allure and warning. The marketplace fades into the background as you become lost in the dwarf's tale. In that moment, the map is not merely a scrap of paper. It is a portal to an adventure laden with ancient curses, untold riches, and the very real danger of the unknown. The exchange is a complete, self-contained spark of mystery that sets your heart pounding with the thrill of possibility and the dread of what may lie ahead. Before the dwarf can utter another word, He folds the map carefully and tucks it close to his chest, as if guarding a sacred relic. His eyes, glistening with the mingled sorrow and hope of a long life spent in search of lost glory, linger on you for a moment longer. Think on it well, he advises in a voice that seems to carry the weight of 1,000 forgotten tales, for this map may be your destiny, or your doom. And with that, he turns away, disappearing into the bustling crowd as mysteriously as he had appeared, leaving you with the tantalizing riddle of treasure and the foreboding promise of an adventure that could redefine your very destiny. In the warm, smoky embrace of the Green Dragon Tavern, the world outside fades into a distant memory, replaced by the raucous, hearty symphony of dwarven lore and laughter. The tavern itself is a testament to rustic charm, a low-ceilinged hall built of weathered stone and dark, ancient timber, its walls adorned with faded banners and carvings that whisper of a long-storied past. Here, under the gentle flicker of oil lamps and the persistent murmur of hushed conversations, every corner seems to hold a secret waiting to be told. At a rough-hewn wooden table near the hearth, a stout dwarf, his face animated with the passion of his ancestry, commands the attention of an eager, motley gathering of patrons. His eyes, bright with a mix of mischief and pride, dance as he recounts tales of his forefathers, a lineage steeped in valor and sacrifice. He speaks of battles fought in the depths of forgotten caverns and of ancient halls where the clang of hammer on anvil once echoed ceaselessly. With every emphatic gesture and booming laugh, he brings to life the legend of a mighty dragon, Smaug, whose name alone sends shivers down the spine of those who dare to listen. The dwarf's voice, rough as the craggy mountains from whence his kin came, rises and falls in an almost musical cadence. Long ago, he begins, leaning forward, so that his words seem to pierce the smoky air. Our ancestors forged pacts with the very earth itself, and from the molten heart of the mountains was born a creature of fire and greed, Smaug, the Golden Terror, a beast whose scales shimmered like precious jewels, yet concealed a soul as dark as the abyss. His description is both awe-inspiring and haunting. The dragon, he says, was not merely a monster, but a living embodiment of the greed and corruption that can fester even in the heart of nature's most majestic creations. The tavern erupts in murmurs of wonder and disbelief as the dwarf's animated storytelling draws his audience deeper into a world where every word is a spell and every pause a moment of silent contemplation. The clatter of mugs and the hearty guffaws of fellow dwarves mingle with the soft strains of a lute played by a corner minstrel, creating an atmosphere that is simultaneously festive and laden with the weight of ancient, somber truths. Amid the reverie, Tomlin, ever the spark of lively mischief, interjects with a playful remark that cuts through the intensity of the tale. Aye, and what of those strange monsters like a Balrog lurking in the dark crevices of our lands? He quips, his tone a blend of jest and genuine curiosity. His comment, delivered with a roguish grin and a light tap on the table, elicits a round of amused chuckles from the gathered crowd. In that moment, the gravity of legendary history is momentarily softened by the warmth of camaraderie, as if even the mightiest of dragons and the deadliest of curses can be met with a hearty laugh and a knowing nod. Yet, as the banter subsides, the echoes of the dwarf's tale resurface, its undercurrent of foreboding and sorrow, a poignant reminder of the dark legacies that lie beneath the jovial exterior of tavern life. For all the merriment and the clinking of tankards, there lingers a shadow, the awareness that the legends spoken of here are not mere myths, but echoes of battles and losses that have shaped the very soul of the land. Each story of Smaug's rampage, each mention of ancient treachery, carries with it the weight of sorrow and the bitter taste of fate's cruel design. The dwarf, undeterred by the transient levity, resumes his narrative with a solemnity that contrasts sharply with the earlier gaiety. We celebrate these tales not only to revel in our shared heritage, he intones, his voice dipping into a near whisper, but to remember that within the heart of every legend there lies a warning, a promise of both fortune and peril. For every treasure unearthed, there may be a curse waiting in the shadows. His words hang heavy in the air, a stark reminder that while the Green Dragon Tavern is a haven of warmth and good cheer, it is also a repository of memories too profound to forget. As the evening wears on, the flickering flames cast dancing shadows upon the rough stone walls, and the stories grow ever more intertwined with the murmurs of ancient sorrow. The interplay of light and dark mirrors the very essence of the legends being recounted, a balance between the exuberance of life and the inevitability of its challenges. In that moment, every listener is transported, caught in the spell of a narrative that is at once whimsical and weighty, festive and foreboding. Here in the Green Dragon Tavern, under the watchful eyes of ancestors long past, the magic of storytelling weaves its subtle enchantment. It is a place where every hearty laugh and every somber pause becomes part of a larger tapestry, a tapestry that hints at epic adventures, lost treasures, and the eternal struggle between hope and despair. And as you sit there, absorbing the rich, layered dialogue and the colorful encounters unfolding before you, you can't help but feel that this is only the beginning, a prologue to a saga that will carry you and all who listen deep into the heart of a world both wondrous and wild. As the bustling energy of the marketplace slowly fades into the gentle hum of a quiet afternoon, you find yourself retracing your steps along the winding path that leads back to your humble hobbit abode. The air, now softer and imbued with the lazy warmth of midday, carries a reflective stillness that contrasts with the vibrant scenes you've just left behind. Every footstep on the sunlit trail feels measured, as if nature itself is urging you to savor this final taste of adventure before the familiar comforts of home embrace you once again. At the very edge of the market, you pause and exchange one last, knowing glance with Tomlin. His mischievous grin lingers like a whispered promise of future escapades, and his steps gradually slow as he ambles away into the throng of his fellow hobbits. In that brief farewell, his presence leaves it a resonant echo, a reminder that even the simplest parting can kindle the spirit of adventure. Until next time, my friend, you murmur under your breath, a soft sentiment carried away by the gentle breeze. With Tomlin now a distant figure against the backdrop of a fading marketplace, the cacophony of daily trade recedes into a quiet murmur. The vibrant clamor is replaced by the sound of rustling leaves and the rhythmic, almost meditative tap of your feet on the well-trodden path. You feel the lingering pulse of excitement in the air, a subtle undercurrent that hints at epic tales yet to unfold. even as the present moment is tender and serene. The landscape transforms as you approach the outskirts of your familiar Shire. The well-manicured hedgerows give way to wild clusters of heather, their purple hues softly glowing in the afternoon sun. Each blade of grass, kissed by sunlight, seems to shimmer with its own quiet magic. This delicate tapestry of nature, so lovingly preserved over the ages, imbues your heart with a deep sense of belonging and the timeless simplicity of hobbit life. As you round a gentle bend, your eyes catch the warm, welcoming sight of your own round door, a charming yellow portal nestled within a quaint cottage. The door is framed by clusters of heather and wildflowers, as if nature herself has laid a gentle wreath around your home. Its cheerful color stands out vividly against the earthy tones of the surrounding landscape, a beacon of homely comfort and safety after a day filled with the thrill of the unknown. You take a moment to pause at the threshold, letting the soft, lingering echoes of the marketplace and the day's adventures mingle with the serenity of home. In that quiet interval, you reflect on the day's unfolding, each vibrant moment in the marketplace, every shared smile and playful banter, all mingling with the quiet wonder of your own safe haven. There is a poignant beauty in this return, a subtle melancholy intertwined with a comforting certainty. No matter how far your feet wander, home is always here, a sanctuary of peace that rejuvenates the spirit. Inside, the familiar sense of home greets you, a delicate blend of freshly baked bread, the lingering aroma of herbal teas, and a hint of wood smoke from the hearth. These are the scents that define the Shire. They speak of countless shared meals, hearty laughter, and a timeless bond with the land. Each step within the cozy walls of your home is a journey back to yourself, a return to the essence of what it means to live in harmony with nature and the simple, enduring joys of life. In the quiet of your own room, as soft light filters through the window and dances upon well-worn furniture, you find yourself caught in a reflective reverie. The adventures of the morning and marketplace, with their fleeting moments of excitement and connection, have left an indelible mark upon you. They serve as a gentle reminder that life, even in its most unassuming moments, is woven with threads of mystery and possibility. It is a delicate balance, a harmonious interplay between the familiar comforts of home and the call of epic legends that lie beyond the horizon. Here, in the serene aftermath of a day filled with shared tales and vibrant encounters, you allow yourself a few moments of introspection. With each quiet breath, you sense the subtle tension between the tranquil present and the distant, stirring promise of grand adventures. The calm of the Shire is not a retreat from the world. Rather, it is a cherished pause, a necessary respite that recharges the heart before it embarks again on a journey into the vast tapestry of legend and destiny. As the afternoon light begins to soften, casting long, gentle shadows upon the floor, you settle into a comfortable chair by the hearth. The murmuring flames seem to whisper ancient secrets, hinting at the epic narratives that await your discovery. Tonight, as you recount the day's encounters and savor the lingering taste of adventure, you feel a quiet anticipation stirring within, a prelude to the grand unfolding saga of heroes, dark legends, and the eternal struggle between light and shadow. With the door firmly closed behind you, the echoes of the marketplace and Tomlin's parting smile remain like a soft refrain in your mind, a tender reminder that the journey is never truly over. It is the promise of more tales, more mysteries to explore, and the ever-present gentle call of adventure that makes the return to home all the more profound. And so, in this reflective moment of farewell, you embrace the peace of the Shire, knowing that within its comforting bounds, the seeds of epic legends are forever sown. In the quiet sanctuary of your home, as the afternoon light mellows into a soft golden glow, you find solace in the intimate ritual of tending to the hearth, a daily ceremony that reconnects you with the gentle pulse of the Shire. The room exudes an inviting warmth, its wooden walls, aged by years of joyful gatherings and whispered secrets, seem to hold the memories of countless stories, told by flickering firelight. You move deliberately toward the hearth, your hands working with familiar ease as you stoke the dying embers, coaxing them to life with tender care. Each swirl of smoke and every spark that dances upward feels like a small invocation, a promise that the past and present are forever intertwined in this sacred space. Spread out across the worn, time-weathered rug, a scatter of books and loose parchment bear silent testimony to your commitment to the art of storytelling. The pages, yellowed by age yet vibrant with the ink of ancient lore, capture the little tales of everyday adventures that have quietly shaped the life of the Shire. Here, in the comfort of your own little corner, the mundane transforms into the magical. A simple morning stroll, the laughter of a neighbor, even the quiet rustle of leaves outside becomes the seed of a legend waiting to be scribed. Settling into your favorite chair, a well-worn relic with cushions softened by years of use, you rest your thoughts and reach for a fresh sheet of parchment. With a well-practiced hand, you dip your quill into a small, ornate inkwell. The scratch of the quill on the paper soon begins a soft, steady rhythm, as if you are not merely recording memories, but weaving a tapestry that bridges the ephemeral beauty of daily life with the grand, sweeping saga of ages past. Each stroke of ink is deliberate and measured, capturing not only events, but also the subtle emotions that often pass unnoticed in the rush of the day. The room is filled with an ambient hush. The only sounds are the gentle crackling of the fire and the soft murmur of your thoughts. As you write, your mind drifts, recalling the laughter and fleeting moments of joy that punctuated your day at the marketplace, and the wistful farewell as you left behind the vibrant chaos of Hobbiton. Yet even these simple recollections are imbued with a quiet magic, hinting at the vast hidden history that lies beneath the surface of every day. In your writing, the gentle cadence of routine intermingles with the resonant echoes of epic legends, forming a bridge between the now and the then. There is a profound beauty in these solitary moments, a beauty that is both introspective and expansive. The act of recording these little tales is not merely about preserving memory. It is an act of reverence for life itself. Each word on the parchment is like a footprint, marking the passage of time, capturing the essence of a moment that, while seemingly ordinary, is part of the eternal rhythm of the world. In the quiet intimacy of your study, you feel the weight of history and the promise of future adventures melding together. A gentle reminder that even the simplest life is woven with threads of destiny. As the fire's glow deepens, casting a dancing mosaic of light and shadow upon the scattered pages, You sense that you are part of something far greater than the sum of daily moments. The room, filled with the soft perfume of burning wood and the lingering trace of herbal tea, seems to hum with the anticipation of stories yet to be told. Your thoughts turn to the grand narratives that have shaped the world of the Shire, from the ancient exploits of long-departed heroes to the whispered legends of mysterious lands beyond the familiar hills. There is a gentle, almost imperceptible shift in your heart, as if the very act of writing awakens a dormant part of your soul that yearns for the epic and the extraordinary. In this tranquil reverie, you pause and reflect on the delicate balance between the mundane and the mythic, the everyday details of a cozy meal, the soft rustle of parchment, and the steady, reassuring rhythm of your quill are all imbued with a quiet magic, each a note in a timeless melody that speaks to the resilience of hope and the enduring power of narrative. The stories you record here are not mere records of past events. They are living artifacts, echoes of a culture that cherishes both the simple and the sublime. As you set down your quill and gaze into the flickering flames, you feel a deep sense of gratitude for this sacred space of memory and myth. The gentle art of storytelling, nurtured within the warm embrace of your home, becomes the foundation upon which the grand tapestry of Middle-earth is built. In that quiet, solitary moment by the hearth, you understand that every humble tale has the potential to echo through eternity, a reminder that even in the simplest of lives, the spark of legend burns bright. High in the ancient, craggy peaks of Mount Gundabad, where the winds carry whispers of primordial secrets, and time itself seems to slow, Duran, the deathless, the first of the Dwarven fathers, awoke to a destiny written in the very bones of the earth. In that mystical moment, as if the mountain itself had summoned him, Duran's eyes opened to a world bathed in the soft glow of destiny. The air was crisp and laden with the scent of stone and ancient fires, a herald of the greatness to come. With a steady, resolute heart, he embarked on a journey southward, a path that would lead him into the heart of mystery and forge the enduring legacy of the Dwarven race. As Duran descended from the lofty heights of Gundabad, the rugged landscape unfolded before him like an epic tapestry. His path wound through a forgotten glen where nature's splendor and raw power converged. There, nestled between towering, moss-clad boulders and veils of mist, lay a lake so still it mirrored the heavens above. Under the watchful gaze of countless stars, the water shimmered with a celestial light, a quiet, enchanting pool that seemed to capture the very essence of the night. It was here, at this starlit lake, that Duran witnessed a breathtaking spectacle, a crown of stars suspended above the water's surface, its brilliance both humbling and awe-inspiring. This celestial crown, an omen and a benediction, would forever guide his people and inspire legends among the dwarves. Compelled by the divine vision, Duran named the lake Kazad-Doom, the Miramir, its name echoing with the promise of light in the darkest depths. It was here that he saw the future of his kin unfolding, a destiny that intertwined the strength of stone with the fragile beauty of the cosmos. Not long after, Duran discovered a series of natural caves that jutted from the mountainside, their ancient, silent corridors echoing with the stories of the earth. Facing east, these caves offered the perfect sanctuary, a nascent foothold upon which the dwarves would build their future. this was the beginning of Kazad-Doom, a name that would come to symbolize both the magnificence and the mystery of dwarven craftsmanship. In the heart of these burgeoning halls, Duran's descendants would later carve the famed Duran stone, a monolithic marker inscribed with intricate runes and symbols of power. It stood as a sacred beacon in the darkness, a testament to the unity and perseverance of the dwarven race. Each chiseled detail, every carefully carved pillar, was imbued with a deep, almost reverential connection to the ancient earth. The underground halls of Kazad-Doom, with their labyrinthine passages and towering columns, were not merely places of refuge. They were masterpieces of art and engineering, echoing with the clang of forges that burned day and night. The grandeur of these halls was matched only by the relentless spirit of their builders. Here, under the constant glow of the forges and the watchful eye of the mountain, the dwarves worked tirelessly, their hammers singing a song of creation that resonated through the ages. Each stone laid, each tunnel carved, was a tribute to the indomitable will of a people determined to forge beauty from the very bedrock of the world. It was a realm where every facet of life was intertwined with the magic of the earth, a world where the fire of the forge met the cool embrace of the deep, and where legends were born in the quiet persistence of labor and belief. Duran's journey, marked by divine omens and the raw force of nature, laid the foundation for an empire that would endure for centuries. The sacred sites he established, the starlit Miramir, the venerable Duran stone, and the sprawling underground halls, would serve as eternal reminders of the dwarves' connection to the ancient earth. These places were not merely structures or landmarks. They were living memories, steeped in the essence of creation itself, and they would inspire countless tales of heroism, treachery, and triumph. In that moment of profound revelation on the banks of the Miramir, as the crown of stars gleamed overhead, Duran understood that his destiny was inseparable from the fate of the mountains. He vowed to lead his people into a new age, one defined by strength, unity, and an unyielding spirit. The legacy of his awakening at Mount Gundabad would be etched into the annals of history, a story of wonder and perseverance that would echo in every chisel strike and every ember that danced in the great forges of Kazad-Doom. Thus, with the heavens as his witness and the ancient earth as his guide, Duran stepped forward into legend, setting in motion a saga of craftsmanship and courage that would forever shape the destiny of the dwarven race. In the years that followed Duran's divine awakening, the halls of Kazad-Doom flourished with a breathtaking splendor that defied the passage of time. The once quiet cave system transformed into a grand empire of stone, an architectural marvel that rose with formidable strength and intricate beauty. Imposing stone walls, hewn from the very bedrock of the mountains, now encased the realm in an almost impregnable fortress. These walls, polished to a subtle gleam by the diligent hands of the dwarves, bore the weight of history and the promise of enduring legacy. Within this mighty stronghold, labyrinthine passages sprawled like veins through a living mountain. Every corridor, every cavern was meticulously crafted, echoing with the steady, unyielding clatter of hammers and the constant, rhythmic chorus of forges that burned day and night. The fires of these forges cast dancing shadows upon the carved pillars, and vaulted ceilings, creating a mesmerizing interplay of light and darkness that imbued Kazad-Doom with an almost otherworldly aura. It was as if the very air pulsed with the essence of creation, a tangible heartbeat of a people united in purpose and passion. As the empire expanded, so too did its artistic grandeur. Master craftsmen dedicated their lives to the perfection of stone and metal, transforming raw materials into intricate works of art that celebrated both strength and beauty. Elaborate reliefs adorned the walls, telling tales of legendary battles, heroic deeds, and the mystical origins of the dwarves. Each chiseled design was not only a testament to skill, but also a silent hymn to the ancient magic that suffused every corner of this realm. The corridors of Kazad-Doom became living galleries, where history and artistry merged in a timeless dance, inviting all who entered to marvel at the splendor of their ancestors' legacy. Yet, the true magic of Kazad-Doom extended far beyond its imposing physicality. In a moment that would forever be etched into the chronicles of the dwarves, a fateful trade was struck with the neighboring Elves of Erin, a harmonious exchange that symbolized a fleeting era of unity between two very different peoples. The dwarves, with their unparalleled mastery of mining and craftsmanship, possessed a resource as rare as it was wondrous: mithril. This ethereal metal, lighter than silk, yet stronger than steel, shimmered with an inner light that seemed to capture the very essence of moonlight. Its beauty was unmatched, and its value was incalculable. In return for this precious gift of mithril, the Elves of Erin, keepers of ancient lore and wielders of potent enchantments, bestowed upon the dwarves a bounty of magical secrets. The elves, known for their grace and deep connection to the natural world, shared their arcane wisdom with generous hearts. Under this accord, the mithril of Kazad-Doom was traded for enchanting runes, delicate spells, and ethereal blessings that would protect and enhance the dwarves' creations. The exchange was more than mere barter. It was a convergence of art and magic, a merging of the tangible and the transcendent. For a time, the once disparate races found common ground. The dwarves' unyielding resolve and meticulous craftsmanship were complemented perfectly by the elves' mystical insights and harmonious enchantments. Together, they built bridges, not just of stone and metal, but of mutual respect and shared destiny, in the vast underground halls of Kazad-Doom, echoing with the triumphant ring of anvils and the soft murmur of incantations. The cooperative spirit of both peoples shone brightly. It was an era defined by promise, where the splendor of Dwarven might met the refined elegance of elven magic, and for a fleeting moment, the ancient enmity that had long separated them was set aside. However, beneath the surface of this harmonious union, the seeds of darker ambitions were quietly germinating. Yet, in those early days, the trade with the Elves of Erin symbolized hope, a belief that even in a world fraught with peril and shadows, unity and cooperation could prevail. The shimmering mithril and the luminous enchantments served as beacons of potential, a glimpse into a future where the strength of the earth and the mysticism of the ancient woods could come together to forge a new era of prosperity. As you wander through the corridors of Kazad-Doom, the lingering sound of the forges seems to echo the heartbeat of a civilization in bloom, a civilization that once dared to dream of a harmonious alliance between stone and spirit. The legacy of this union, although eventually marred by the inevitable encroachments of greed and the rise of darker forces, remains a testament to a time when the realms of men and elves touched in gentle concord. In those days, the very walls of Kazad-Doom whispered stories of unity and ambition, of a shared destiny that transcended the boundaries of race and nature. Thus, the splendor of Kazad-Doom stands not only as a monument to the dwarves' artistic genius, but also as a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between creation and destruction, a balance that, for a precious moment, shone with the light of hope, guided by the enchantments gifted by the wise and gracious elves of Arran. Deep within the formidable walls of Kazad-Doom, a subtle, insidious transformation began to take root, a slow, corrosive shift from reverence for mithril to an all-consuming obsession. Once celebrated as a wondrous treasure, the gleaming metal, with its luminous beauty and unparalleled strength, now stirred in the hearts of the dwarves a dangerous yearning. What had once been admiration for a miraculous gift from the earth had begun to darken into a relentless hunger, a hunger that whispered of power and glory, but promised only ruin. In the hushed corridors beneath the grand halls, where the rhythmic clang of hammers and the steady roar of the forges once sang a hymn to creation, a new sound began to emerge. It was at first faint, a low, tremulous murmur echoing through the labyrinthine passages, as if the very stone itself were beginning to protest. Soon, these murmurs grew into unsettling whispers, drifting from the deepest recesses of the mines, where the dwarves delved relentlessly for more mithril. The miners, their faces smudged with soot and sweat, began to exchange wary glances as strange noises crept into their work, an eerie cadence that belied the calm efficiency of their daily toil. Over time, the once proud ambition to harness the beauty of mithril transformed into an unhealthy dependency. Dwarven hearts, once fortified by a love of craft and tradition, were now gripped by an obsession with unearthing more of the rare metal, regardless of the peril. The deeper they dug, the louder the ominous sounds became, low rumbles like the growl of some ancient beast stirring from slumber, and the faint echo of voices that seemed to carry warnings from beyond mortal ken. A growing dread seeped into every chisel stroke and every pick swung at the rock. The miners began to speak in hushed tones of an age-old curse, a foreboding legend that warned of he who digs for treasure. This ancient cautionary tale, passed down through generations, recounted the fate of those who, blinded by greed, unearthed secrets best left undisturbed. It was said that the earth, in its primordial wisdom, conceals treasures with a hidden price. The more one sought to claim that which glittered and promised wealth, the more the earth would awaken its darker side. As the dwarves' quest for mithril grew ever more fervent, the whispers of the curse began to echo louder in the dark, subterranean corridors. In the dead of night, when the forges had dimmed and the workers retreated into restless sleep, the quiet was broken by the sound of distant tremors, subtle quakes that reverberated through the stone, as if the very foundations of Kazad-Doom were shifting. These tremors were accompanied by an almost imperceptible susurration, a chorus of hushed voices that seemed to rise from the deep, urging caution and warning of impending doom. Some claimed that these were the lamentations of the ancient guardians of the earth, spirits bound to the treasure that lay hidden in the abyss, now stirred by the unbridled greed of the dwarves. Within the cavernous halls, beneath the flickering light of scattered torches, a palpable tension began to build, a sense that the pursuit of mithril had awakened something long dormant, something dark and relentless. The once harmonious symphony of stone and flame was now punctuated by an undercurrent of unease. In the quiet solitude of the deepest mines, dwarven miners found themselves grappling not only with the physical toll of their labor, but with a creeping dread that their ceaseless quest might be drawing the wrath of the very earth they revered. The ominous warning of he who digs for treasure took on a life of its own. Its chilling message echoed in every tremor and every whispered sound. It was a stark reminder that every act of greed had its price. The very rocks beneath their feet, once symbols of enduring strength and beauty, now seemed to murmur with a dark promise that those who delved too greedily into the depths might unleash forces beyond their control. There was an old, inexorable magic at work, a power that fed on avarice and rewarded hubris with sorrow. Thus, in the shadowy underbelly of Kazad-Doom, as the gleam of mithril shone like a siren's call, and the deep earth trembled with ominous warnings, the dwarves stood at a crossroads. Their unyielding quest for wealth had blurred the line between ambition and obsession, and every echoing whisper from the deep was a portent of the perils that lay ahead. In that fragile balance between desire and dread, the fate of the dwarven empire hung by a thread, poised on the brink of either unparalleled prosperity or devastating ruin. Deep in the hidden, subterranean depths of Kazad-Doom, where the hammer's echo had once sung the proud hymns of creation, an ancient evil stirred from its long, shadowed slumber. It began as a tremor, a low, mournful rumble that vibrated through the stone and set even the boldest of dwarven hearts to unease. Unbeknownst to the laboring miners, their relentless quest for mithril had pried open a gateway to a terror older than time itself. In that fateful moment, the darkness answered their call, and from the abyss emerged Duran's bane, a towering Balrog of Morgoth, wreathed in searing flames and swirling shadows. As the cavernous halls of Kazad-Doom shook with a primordial roar, the once steady cadence of the forges turned to chaos. Fiery tendrils of flame licked up the rough-hewn walls, and the heat of the awakened Balrog burned with an intensity that shattered the calm. The creature's form, both awe-inspiring and utterly terrible, loomed large, a silhouette of molten fury and dreadful majesty. Its eyes, if they could be called that, glowed like coals fed by the fires of a fallen world, and its massive wings, though shrouded in darkness, stirred the very air into a frenzy. In the heart of the chaos, dwarven warriors rushed to arms, their battle cries echoing through the labyrinth of stone. Steel clashed with flame, as valiant defenders attempted to stand against the overwhelming might of this infernal being. The clang of hammers and the desperate ring of battle axes mingled with the furious roars of the awakened demon. Despite their bravery, the defenders found themselves overwhelmed by the Balrog's brutal force. Every swing of its fiery whip and every step forward scorched the earth, reducing proud stone corridors to smoldering ruins. Amid the frantic struggle, a grim realization dawned upon the dwarves. Their relentless excavation, their unquenchable thirst for mithril, had unearthed more than treasure. They had disturbed a slumbering horror, a punishment wrought by the deep earth itself for daring to disturb its ancient secrets. The proud and steadfast warriors, once confident in their mastery of stone and steel, now staggered in the searing heat, their armor glistening with sweat and soot, as their comrades fell one by one to the Balrog's wrath. The battle raged on in a maelstrom of fire and despair. The clash of weaponry and the desperate shouts of the wounded filled the air as the infernal creature advanced inexorably, leaving a trail of scorched devastation in its wake. The protective halls, meticulously carved by generations of skilled hands, trembled and crumbled beneath the Balrog's assault. Each thunderous blow was a grim reminder that in their unbridled greed, the dwarves had dug too deep, inviting the wrath of an ancient force that cared little for mortal ambition. In a moment of harrowing clarity, the surviving warriors, battered and bloodied, realized that all hope of containing the disaster had faded into the searing gloom. Their mighty stronghold, once a beacon of dwarven ingenuity and strength, was now a burning tomb of shattered dreams and fallen heroes. The flames roared with a ferocity that seemed to erase the very names of those who had fallen, their sacrifices consumed by the insatiable blaze of retribution. As the last of the battle's echoes faded into the oppressive silence, the dwarves gathered amidst the ruins of their once great empire. With hearts heavy with sorrow and regret, they recognized that Kazad-Doom, so proud and resplendent, had been irrevocably tainted by their overreaching ambition. The scorched halls and collapsed corridors bore witness to a fatal error. The pursuit of Mithril had cost them dearly. Their once cherished home, built with love and labor, now lay abandoned, a desolate monument to hubris and the inexorable forces of ancient darkness. And so, with heavy hearts and solemn resolve, the dwarves made the painful decision to forsake Kazad-Doom. They sealed the entrance with a final, sorrowful chant, an act of both reverence and resignation to the consequences of their greed. In abandoning the halls that had cradled their hopes and dreams for generations, they hoped to lay to rest the wrath of the deep and prevent further desecration by the Balrog's lingering malice. Thus ended an era, a time when the pursuit of beauty and wealth had led to the awakening of primordial terror. The once mighty Kazad-Doom was left to smolder in its ruin, its legacy forever marred by the reminder that the earth's ancient secrets are not to be trifled with. Later it would come to be known as Moria, a name that would echo in sorrow and caution, a tale of ambition turned to tragedy and the ultimate price of digging too deep. Beneath the darkened vaults of legend, the Balrogs stand as living testaments to the corruption of light and the perversion of creation. They are far more than mere beasts of brute strength. They are, in truth, corrupted spirits, once ethereal, entities of pure, unblemished power that were twisted and marred by Morgoth's insidious influence. In the earliest days of the world, before the fires of the forges had stoked the ambitions of mortal craftsmen, these beings existed in a realm of transcendent beauty, their spirits radiant and free. But as Morgoth, the first Dark Lord, bent the natural order to his will, these celestial beings were drawn into his orbit of decay and destruction. Under Morgoth's malignant guidance, the Balrogs underwent a profound transformation. No longer were they symbols of creation, their forms lit by the pure light of the Valor. Instead, they became instruments of terror, vessels for the darkness that seeped into the very fabric of the world. Their once ethereal flames, which might have illuminated the heavens, were now consumed by a sinister purpose, a raging eternal fire that forged their shapes in the crucible of doom. Each Balrog, with its imposing silhouette and seething aura of shadow and flame, became a harbinger of despair, a walking conflagration that extinguished hope wherever it roamed. The evolution of these fearsome entities is marked by a haunting duality. In their primordial state, the Balrogs were akin to the celestial guardians of creation, their powers vast and untamed. Yet Morgoth's influence, dark and relentless, twisted this power into something unrecognizable, a force not meant to nurture, but to annihilate. The fire that once symbolized the life-giving warmth of the stars was transformed into a weapon of relentless destruction. With each passing age, the Balrogs shed more of their former radiance, their very essence becoming steeped in malevolence, their forms growing more corporeal and imposing, their roars echoing like thunder across ruined lands. As you traverse the annals of this ancient tale, you may hear whispered echoes of other dark entities that share this grim destiny. Among these, a name that rises from the deepest shadows is that of Ungoliant, a being of unspeakable hunger and darkness, whose presence further magnifies the enigmatic aura of these corrupted spirits. Though Ungoliant herself is a creature of myth and mystery, her tale, interwoven with that of Morgoth, serves to heighten the sense of foreboding that surrounds the Balrogs. It is as if, in the dark recesses of the world, a consortium of malevolent forces once conspired to remake existence in their own image, a vision where light was but a distant memory, and only the relentless power of darkness reigned supreme. The Balrogs, in their dread majesty, carry with them the legacy of that primordial corruption. Their presence is not simply a reminder of Morgoth's dark reign. It is a living, breathing embodiment of the eternal struggle between light and shadow, a battle that continues to shape the very destiny of Middle-earth. Each encounter with a Balrog is like a confrontation with a force of nature, an unstoppable, awe-inspiring tempest of flame and fury that can turn the tides of entire battles with its mere presence. For the dwarves, elves, and men who have witnessed these towering figures, the memory is seared into their souls. They speak of the Balrogs, not with the casual bravado of warriors, but with a measured reverence, as if each word uttered in their name were an invocation of ancient dread. To face a Balrog is to stand on the precipice of oblivion, a moment when the balance of power teeters on the edge of annihilation. And yet, in the midst of this overwhelming terror, there remains a glimmer of defiance, a quiet hope that even the darkest of curses might one day be undone by the bravery of those who dare to challenge it. Thus, the nature of the Balrogs, and, by extension, the dark legacy of Morgoth, resonates as one of the most profound and unsettling chapters of this epic saga. Their evolution from pure, radiant spirits to monstrous agents of destruction is not merely a tale of downfall. It is a stark reminder of the price that is paid when the natural order is subverted by unbridled ambition and malice. In every ember of their flame and every shadow that clings to their form, there lies the echo of a world that once was, a world before darkness fell, and a warning for all who would dare to awaken the slumbering terrors of the past. In this relentless transformation, the Balrogs remain eternal symbols of warning, a cautionary tale etched in fire and stone, urging the races of Middle-earth to remember that even the most luminous light can be corrupted, and that the power of darkness, once unleashed, may never truly be contained. In a time long forgotten, when the borders between mortal ambition and dark sorcery blurred into indistinction, there rose a king whose destiny would forever haunt the annals of Middle-earth. Once a mighty sorcerer and a revered ruler, his heart began its slow, inexorable descent into ice, a descent driven by betrayal, isolation, and an unyielding hunger for vengeance. This was the nascent tale of the Witch King of Angmar, whose transformation under the insidious influence of Sauron would lead him to become the most dreaded of all the ring-wraiths. In his former days, he had ruled with passion and might, his court resplendent with the trappings of ancient nobility, echoed with the hymns of a golden era. Yet beneath the veneer of regal splendor, a chill had begun to creep into his soul, a creeping frost that dimmed the fires of hope and compassion. It was as if the very light of his spirit was slowly being snuffed out, replaced by an overwhelming darkness that grew with each passing day. The turning point came when the Dark Lord Sauron, a master of deceit and a weaver of malignant enchantments, cast his insidious spell upon the king. With honeyed words and promises of power eternal, Sauron seduced him into embracing a destiny far removed from the fleeting ideals of mortal kingship. Under Sauron's relentless tutelage, the once noble monarch found himself drawn into a vortex of corruption and despair. His once illuminated visage, now shrouded in an aura of ceaseless twilight, took on a form both terrifying and mesmerizing. Cloaked in robes as dark as the void, his presence evoked both awe and dread among those who glimpsed him. His eyes, once windows to a soul filled with warmth and wisdom, had transformed into pits of unending despair, mirroring the darkness that now consumed him. It was in this crucible of betrayal and ambition that the Witch King was reborn, a spectral monarch destined to wield power over fear and to command legions in the name of vengeance. Central to his dread legend is the cursed weapon he bears, the Morgul Blade. Forged in the depths of dark sorcery, this blade is no mere instrument of death, but a harbinger of cursed fate. Its edge, ever thirsty for the life force of its victims, burrows deep into the flesh, fusing its venomous curse with every fatal strike. The Morgul Blade is as much a part of the Witch King as his own shadow, a manifestation of the dark pact that sealed his fate. Each swing of this accursed weapon not only slays but transforms its victim, binding their soul to the eternal darkness that now defines his master's will. The rise of the Witch King is marked by an almost mythic journey, a relentless quest for dominion and retribution that spans ages. His long path to power was paved with loss, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of a vengeance that knew no bounds. He was driven not merely by a lust for power, but by a profound sense of grievance, a burning desire to reclaim what he believed was unjustly taken from him, to reforge his shattered identity into one of unassailable might. In every whispered legend, his name is spoken with a mixture of terror and reluctant admiration, a name that echoes through the halls of ancient ruins and the dark, forgotten passages of cursed fortresses. Throughout the shadowed history of Middle-earth, the Witch King's influence grew ever more ominous. His mere presence was enough to freeze the hearts of the brave. His dark, foreboding aura, palpable as a physical force, instilled paralyzing fear in all who dared to oppose him. The air around him seemed to ripple with the power of the dark sorcery he now commanded, a power that could subdue even the strongest of wills and bend the course of destiny itself. His long quest for vengeance and dominion was not simply an exercise in conquest. It was a manifestation of a soul utterly lost to darkness, a soul that had sacrificed its light in exchange for the cold certainty of absolute control. In hushed tones, the wise and the fearful alike recount the fateful day when the transformation was complete, a day when the light within him was finally snuffed out, and in its place an eternal darkness was enshrined. Thereafter, he roamed the lands as the greatest of the ring wraiths, a spectral commander bound to the will of Sauron, whose every step left a trail of dread and despair. His legacy is one of relentless pursuit, of shadows that stretch across battlefields, of whispered threats that linger long after the clash of steel has ceased. His is a fate sealed by the dark magic of a fallen world, a warning to all who might dare to challenge the dominion of darkness. Thus, the tale of the Witch King of Angmar unfolds as one of tragic transformation and relentless ambition, a story that blurs the line between a fallen king and an undying specter of vengeance. His journey, steeped in mystery and imbued with the ominous power of cursed relics, stands as a stark reminder of the price of forsaking light for darkness. In his rise, the very essence of despair and retribution took on a form both terrifying and eternal, forever haunting the chronicles of Middle-earth. In a time long before the gentle laughter of hobbits echoed across the rolling hills of the Shire, a mysterious folk emerged quietly in the eastern lands, a people whose origins were shrouded in gentle enigma, and whose humble beginnings would one day spark legends of their own. These early hobbits, slight and unassuming, were wanderers of the wild, their presence almost as if whispered into existence by the very winds that swept over ancient, uncharted territories. With soft, nimble feet and a natural affinity for the earth, they moved as shadows between sunlit glades and moss-covered trails, guided by an instinctual pull toward warmth and home. Their early journeys were marked by a migratory spirit, born of necessity and wonder. The hobbits roamed far and wide, seeking places where the land was generous and the soil fertile, a stark contrast to the harsher realms, ruled by might and ambition. In these early days, they lived in small, scattered communities, relying on nature's bounty and the simplicity of life. They built temporary shelters beneath the welcoming arms of ancient trees, their makeshift homes offering both protection and a deep, resonant connection to the land. Each new settlement was a testament to their resourcefulness, a brief but heartfelt endeavor to create a sanctuary amid an ever-changing world. As seasons turned and years passed, these nomadic folk gradually began to evolve. The hardships of constant travel and the unpredictability of the wilderness forced them to develop skills and values that would soon define their culture. Over time, the constant struggle for sustenance gave way to a more deliberate pursuit of community and self-governance. In this slow, almost imperceptible transformation, the hobbits learned the art of nurturing life, cultivating small gardens, tending to crops, and sharing the fruits of their labor with one another. Their hearts, tempered by both simplicity and the weight of their travels, grew to cherish the bonds of kinship and the quiet joy of shared moments. It was in one fateful migration that the seeds of what would later become the Shire were first sown, drawn by the promise of a fertile, sunlit valley. A large group of hobbits settled in an idyllic stretch of land bordered by gentle hills and meandering streams. The land was untouched by the grand ambitions of the outside world, a pristine haven where time seemed to slow and every sunrise brought a promise of peace. Here, amid the soft rustling of heather and the murmur of babbling brooks, the hobbits began to build a way of life that was uniquely their own. They crafted simple, rounded homes carved into the hillsides and constructed charming burrows that blended seamlessly with the natural contours of the land. The birth of the Shire was not without its challenges, however. In their early days, the hobbits had to contend with the elements, unpredictable weather, and the constant need to safeguard their newfound peace from the encroaching ambitions of outsiders. Yet these hardships only served to fortify their resolve. Through shared struggles and quiet determination, the hobbits forged the foundations of self-governance, developing a communal spirit that was both democratic and deeply rooted in tradition. Each small council meeting and every village celebration became an opportunity to reaffirm their commitment to a life of peace and mutual respect, a life unburdened by the relentless pursuit of power. Amid the soft glow of lamplight in modest communal halls, elders recounted tales of their wandering days, weaving together memories of both hardship and hope. Their stories, told in gentle, melodic voices, were imbued with an epic undercurrent, a reminder that even the most humble beginnings might one day give rise to legends of extraordinary beauty and resilience. The hobbits' gatherings were suffused with a warmth that came not only from the crackling hearths, but from the collective heart of a people who had learned to find joy in simplicity. Here, laughter mingled with the rustle of leaves and the soft hum of contentment, and each shared meal was a celebration of survival and a quiet defiance against the darkness of an uncertain world. In the heart of this nascent Shire, the hobbits began to leave behind the itinerant life of wanderers, settling into a rhythm that celebrated the sacredness of home. The land, with its gentle undulations and bountiful harvests, offered them not just sustenance, but a promise of a legacy that would grow with each passing generation. And though the early days were marked by modest means and a cautious hope, the underlying epic nature of their fate was already taking shape, a destiny woven with threads of humility, resilience, and the quiet strength of a people destined to leave an indelible mark on Middle-earth. Thus, the early history of the hobbits and the birth of the Shire became a saga of transformation, a journey from nomadic survival to a vibrant, self-governed haven where every corner, every whisper of wind spoke of a future filled with both peace and the unspoken promise of epic adventure. In these humble beginnings, the stage was set for a legacy that would one day captivate hearts and echo through the ages. In the tranquil, unassuming life of the Shire, Bilbo Baggins had long embraced the comforts of routine and the quiet rhythm of a peaceful existence. His days were filled with simple pleasures, a well-tended garden, leisurely strolls among the rolling hills, and afternoons spent with a good book by the fire in his round, snug hobbit hole at Bag End. Bilbo's world was a tapestry of familiarity and gentle contentment, untouched by the grand adventures sung in legends of old. Yet even in such a sheltered life, the stirrings of destiny have a way of finding those who least expect them. One unremarkable morning, as the dew still clung to the grass, and the Shire bathed in the soft glow of dawn, an unexpected visitor shattered Bilbo's quiet routine. Gandalf the Grey, a wizard whose presence exuded both wisdom and mischief, arrived at Bilbo's door with an air of urgency and enigmatic purpose. With him came a company of dwarves led by Thorin Oakenshield, their eyes alight with the fire of a quest that promised both peril and possibility. Their unexpected appearance set Bilbo's heart pounding in a way he had never experienced, a hesitant yet undeniable call to adventure that tugged at the edges of his well-ordered life. Though Bilbo's initial reaction was one of reluctance and mild indignation, after all, his days of adventure were safely behind him. Something stirred within him. The prospect of stepping beyond the familiar borders of the Shire, however daunting, whispered of mysteries waiting to be uncovered and treasures lost to time. With each passing moment and each persuasive word from Gandalf and the dwarves, the pull of destiny grew stronger. Ultimately, the allure of the unknown, with all its promises of glory and transformation, proved too potent to resist. Thus began Bilbo's reluctant journey into realms he had only ever dreamed of in his quiet moments. Venturing far from his cozy hobbit hole, he found himself traversing rugged paths and shadowed forests, where every step carried the weight of impending change. And it was in one of these dark, winding passages, deep beneath the earth in the gloomy, forgotten corridors of the misty mountains, that fate revealed its most enigmatic secret. In the oppressive gloom of a narrow cave, where the only light came from the faint glow of phosphorescent fungi clinging to damp walls, Bilbo encountered a creature as mysterious as it was pitiful. Gollum, the creature, with his pallid, sunken face and eyes that flickered with a strange, unsettling light, lived in solitude in the darkness, shunned and cursed by the world above. Gollum's voice, a raspy whisper of madness and sorrow, echoed through the cavern as he spoke in riddles that danced on the edge of comprehension. It was in this eerie silence that Bilbo's destiny took a sudden, dramatic turn. Amid the clutter and decay of Gollum's underground lair, hidden in a tangle of slimy corridors and ancient stone, Bilbo's hand brushed against an object that seemed to hum with a life of its own. There, gleaming with an otherworldly radiance, amidst the gloom, lay a small golden ring. Its surface was unadorned yet captivating, catching the meager light and reflecting it in subtle, mesmerizing glints that beckoned with the silent promise. For a moment, time seemed to halt. The ring, simple in appearance yet exuding a mysterious power, stirred something deep within Bilbo, though its true nature remained shrouded in enigma. A faint, almost imperceptible pull, an insidious whisper of destiny, seemed to emanate from its golden surface. Unaware of the far-reaching consequences of his find, Bilbo pocketed the ring, its weight light in his hand, but heavy with unseen significance. As he slipped away from Gollum's lair, Bilbo's mind whirled with conflicting emotions: fear, curiosity, and an inexplicable sense of opportunity. The ring seemed to cloak him in a shadow of invisibility, a secret that would soon alter not only his fate, but that of all Middle-earth. In the depths of that dark cavern, where the echoes of ancient sorrow mingled with the promise of a hidden power, Bilbo's simple life was forever transformed. The discovery of the golden ring set in motion a chain of events that would ripple across the ages. It was no ordinary trinket, but a device of profound and perilous influence, a relic forged in the fires of a dark purpose, destined to change the course of history. Even as Bilbo ventured further from the familiar comforts of the Shire, the ring's secret influence began to seep into his very being, a silent reminder that fate, once awakened, can never be unlearned. Thus, with the reluctant heart of a hobbit and the golden ring clutched tightly in hand, Bilbo Baggins embarked on a journey that would eventually lead him and all of Middle-earth into an era of epic trials, unforeseen alliances, and the inexorable clash between light and shadow. In the darkness beneath the mountains, destiny had made its choice, and the fate of the world was poised to change forever. In the quiet aftermath of Bilbo's unexpected adventure, the golden ring began to weave its insidious magic through the fabric of hobbit life. At first, its influence was as subtle as the soft rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze, a quiet murmur that few could hear, yet whose echoes would grow louder with each passing day. For Bilbo, the ring extended his life in ways both wondrous and unnerving. What once was a simple charm to cloak his escapades soon revealed darker implications. The ring altered his demeanor, lending him an air of wistful melancholy and secretive detachment that even the warmest hearth could not fully dispel. Bilbo's once vibrant eyes now occasionally flickered with an unreadable intensity, as if the ring had infused him with an otherworldly burden. His lively spirit, tempered by years of contentment in the Shire, seemed at times to recede into a quiet, reflective solitude. Friends and kin, accustomed to his gentle humor and boundless curiosity, began to notice that the ring's quiet allure subtly shifted his behavior. It was not an overt change, a mere passing moment of introspection here, a lingering gaze there, but rather a slow, inexorable transformation that hinted at the ancient, malignant power hidden within the small golden band. As whispers of the ring's dark influence began to echo among the wise, Gandalf's gaze grew increasingly troubled. The wizard, ever vigilant and deeply attuned to the currents of destiny, sensed that something was amiss. His long, knowing eyes observed Bilbo's gradual change with mounting suspicion. The extension of Bilbo's life, while initially a marvel, now hinted at a perilous consequence, a price to be paid for tampering with the natural order. Gandalf's concern was not only for Bilbo, but for the fragile peace of the Shire itself, now imperiled by the creeping tendrils of the ring's malignant power. Meanwhile, far beyond the tranquil borders of the Shire, dark forces stirred in distant lands. The shadow of Sauron loomed ever larger, and his dark agents began to awaken, drawn by the ring's potent call. Even as hobbit life continued in its simple rhythm, festive gatherings, abundant feasts, and the comforting routine of home, the encroaching malice of the outside world seeped slowly into every corner. The once untroubled air of the Shire now carried with it an undercurrent of dread, a subtle reminder that even the gentlest lives might be overshadowed by ancient, relentless evil. As the years passed, the ring's influence grew more pronounced. Bilbo, now, a figure marked by both wisdom and an inexplicable sorrow, found his days increasingly filled with quiet introspection rather than mirthful adventure. He retreated into the comfort of his old, familiar routines, yet there was an unmistakable heaviness to his heart, a sense that the Golden Band was a constant, oppressive companion. Its power was both a blessing and a curse, extending his life while slowly corroding the simplicity that had once defined him. In the soft glow of evening, when the Shire's gentle fields were bathed in the last warm hues of daylight, the subtle transformation in Bilbo was unmistakable. His friends noticed that his stories, once filled with playful exuberance and light-hearted wonder, now carried a trace of somber reflection. Every word, every gesture, hinted at an unspoken knowledge of the ring's dangerous allure, a secret that would soon cast long shadows over the idyllic life of the Shire. As Bilbo's reluctant journey toward the final farewell with the ring approached, the balance of hobbit life began to shift. The tranquility of the Shire, long a bastion of peace and simple joys, was slowly being tainted by the creeping influence of that dark, silent force. The very air seemed to hold its breath, as if nature itself sensed that a profound change was imminent. In the quiet of the night, under a sky strewn with starlight, a foreboding chill replaced the usual warmth, a subtle warning of the turbulent times ahead. Thus, as the ring was eventually passed to Frodo, its ominous power continued its quiet, inexorable march. The transition, while outwardly smooth, marked the beginning of a profound transformation. Frodo, like Bilbo before him, would soon learn that this small, unassuming trinket carried with it the weight of an ancient destiny, a destiny that threatened not only his own soul, but the very future of the Shire. In that fateful moment of change, a bittersweet melancholy settled over the land. The peaceful days of hobbit life were now irrevocably shadowed by the promise of darkness, lurking just beyond the horizon. In the gentle murmur of the Shire's wind, in the soft rustling of the autumn leaves, and in the quiet determination of its hobbits, there echoed an unspoken forewarning. The era of untroubled peace was drawing to a close. The ring's dark influence had begun to alter the fabric of their world, and as the Shire braced for the challenges to come, the seeds of a greater, more perilous saga were sown, a saga that would forever change the destiny of Middle-earth. When the weary hobbits finally returned from distant lands, they found a Shire transformed beyond recognition, a place once bathed in pastoral bliss, now smothered under a grim pall of industrial decay. The gentle, rolling green hills, which had long cradled a simple, idyllic way of life, were scarred by the brutal imprints of machinery and corruption. Once, the Shire was a sanctuary of comfort and laughter. Now it lay in a state of desolation, its fields churned into barren wastelands, its streams tainted by the pollutants of dark industry. Saruman's treachery had reached even these tranquil borders. Under his malevolent influence, the once harmonious Shire had been subjugated by forces of order and oppression, a stark industrial wasteland where smoke and machinery replaced the soft murmur of nature. The once cheerful hobbit holes, with their welcoming round doors and lush gardens, were now barricaded by cold, unyielding constructs that stripped the land of its soul. The heart of the Shire, once a haven of rustic beauty, throbbed with a slow, anguished cry of despair, as the gentle spirit of its people was smothered by the weight of domination. Yet, in the midst of this desolation, hope flickered like a stubborn ember in the darkness. Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, those unassuming yet brave souls, whose hearts had always been intertwined with the land, rose in defiant rebellion, led by Frodo, whose spirit bore the deep scars of past journeys, and the burden of a destiny that had slowly eroded his inner light. The hobbits united to reclaim the Shire that was rightfully theirs. Their uprising was unexpected and fierce, a quiet revolution that burst forth with the raw, untamed energy of a people who had long nurtured dreams of freedom and renewal. In the dead of night, under a sky blanketed with somber stars, the hobbits gathered in secret, their whispers and determined glances weaving a silent pact of resistance. Sam's steady resolve, Merry's unyielding humor, and Pippin's youthful fire lent strength to Frodo's measured command. Together they orchestrated a plan that was as much an act of love as it was of defiance, a strategy to dismantle the oppressive structures that had robbed the Shire of its gentle soul. Their plan was bold and unorthodox, built on the belief that even the smallest among us can kindle the greatest change. The uprising began with a series of swift surgical strikes, targeting the machinery and barracks that symbolized Saruman's tyranny. In the shadowed alleys and narrow lanes of the Shire, the hobbits moved like whispers, striking swiftly and disappearing into the night. Their actions, though modest in scale, rippled outward like a tremor through a sleeping giant. The sound of clashing tools, the echo of determined shouts, and the soft rustle of overgrown fields reclaimed by nature, all blended into an anthem of defiance. It was an uprising that, while rooted in the simplicity of hobbit life, carried the weight of epic destiny. Amid the chaos, Frodo stood at the forefront, his eyes reflecting both sorrow and fierce determination. Each swing of his small sword was imbued with the hope of a restored home, yet every parry reminded him of the emotional cost he had already paid, of the loss of innocence and the heavy burden of the ring's lingering shadow. His every step was a testament to the resilience of the hobbit spirit, a defiant stand against the oppressive darkness that had invaded their cherished land. The battle for the Shire was not without sacrifice. Many hobbits, who had once only known peace, now bore wounds both physical and emotional. Yet in every fallen comrade, in every shattered barricade, there emerged a bittersweet legacy of heroism, a legacy defined not by the clamor of grand armies, but by the quiet, steadfast courage of those who fought to reclaim the essence of home. Their valor was raw and unsung, a subtle defiance that resonated deeply within the hearts of all who cherished the Shire. As dawn broke over the scarred landscape, the true nature of their victory began to take shape. The oppressive smoke gradually cleared, revealing hints of green reclaiming the ruined earth. The machinery of tyranny lay silent and abandoned, a stark reminder of what had been overcome. The Shire, though forever changed by the scars of war, began to breathe once again. A tender, slow revival that whispered of a future where hope would once more flourish amidst the ruins. In that quiet, reflective moment, as the first light touched the battered yet unbowed remnants of the Shire, It was clear that the heroism of these humble hobbits had kindled a new era. Their courage, born of simplicity and nurtured in the fires of adversity, had transformed a land of sorrow into a symbol of resilience and renewal. And while the pain of the past lingered like a shadow, it was eclipsed by the promise of brighter days, a promise that would echo through the ages as a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Shire. In the quiet aftermath of war, as the scars of darkness slowly healed the Shire's verdant fields, the hobbits emerged as unsung heroes, small, steadfast souls whose quiet resilience had transformed the course of history. Their journey through the trials of the War of the Ring had left them forever changed. No longer were they mere keepers of simple, pastoral life. They had become living symbols of hope, courage, and the enduring strength of humility in a world that had known both tremendous sorrow and epic valor. In the gentle embrace of dawn, as the first light caressed the freshly reclaimed green of the Shire, a subtle but profound transformation took hold. The once unassuming hamlet, with its quaint round doors and lovingly tended gardens, now carried an air of quiet dignity. The tales of hobbit heroism, the daring uprisings, the steadfast defiance against oppression, whispered through every cobblestone and flower bed, weaving themselves into the fabric of the land. In hushed conversations around warm hearths, elders recounted the valor of Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, whose courage had not only liberated their homeland, but had also ignited a spark of hope that would soon blaze across the wider realm. As the Shire healed, its people reached out beyond their borders. The shared pain of conflict had built bridges of empathy and kinship with the other free peoples of Middle-earth. Gondor and Rohan, having fought side by side with the hobbits against the encroaching darkness, now looked upon the Shire not merely as a quiet, isolated corner of the world, but as a vital heart, a bastion of life and resilience. In grand halls of Gondor and on the sweeping plains of Rohan, leaders spoke of the hobbits with reverence, their voices soft but resolute, acknowledging that the smallest of folk had, in truth, wielded the greatest power, the power to unite and inspire. In the wake of the war, emissaries traveled from the Shire to distant courts, forging new alliances that balanced the grandeur of epic kingdoms with the unpretentious, heartfelt simplicity of hobbit life. It was a remarkable union of worlds. On one side, the majestic, storied legacies of men and elves, and on the other, the quiet yet indomitable spirit of the hobbits. Their newfound connections were celebrated not with grandiose fanfare, but through genuine gestures of goodwill, a shared meal, a humble gift, or the quiet nod of mutual respect. This was an era defined not by the clashing of swords, but by the subtle, enduring bonds of friendship that spanned realms. The legacy of the hobbits was not measured solely in battles won or sacrifices made, but in the everyday beauty they restored to their beloved Shire. Gardens once trampled by the march of war were tenderly replanted, and the soft laughter of children returned to echo along meandering country lanes. Even the air seemed lighter, as if the very essence of the Shire had been purified by the trials it had endured. The hobbits, with their unassuming strength, reminded all that true heroism often grows in the quietest of hearts, and that even in the shadow of great darkness, the smallest light can kindle hope for an entire world. This balance between humble life and epic legacy became the new narrative of the Shire. The hobbits' simple joys, an afternoon spent fishing by a sparkling, stream, the gentle rhythm of tending to their fields, the warmth of a shared story by the fire, were now imbued with a profound, almost sacred significance. Every act of kindness, every humble gathering, stood as a testament to a people who had weathered unspeakable trials and emerged not broken, but emboldened, with an inner light that no darkness could ever fully extinguish. Thus, as the Shire and its people began to look to the future with renewed optimism, the quiet resilience of the hobbits became a beacon across Middle-earth. Their legacy was celebrated in song and story, a gentle yet stirring reminder that even those who lead lives of simplicity can change the fate of the world. The bonds forged in the fires of conflict now promised a future where alliances between the great kingdoms and the humble folk of the Shire would nurture a legacy of enduring peace and unity. In the soft glow of a new dawn, as the fields of the Shire whispered secrets of both past sorrow and future hope, the Hobbit's legacy shone bright, a testament to the unyielding power of hope, friendship, and the quiet heroism that forever binds the hearts of all free peoples. Far to the north, beyond the gentle fields of the Shire and the burgeoning hope of new alliances, an unyielding shadow swept across the land, a relentless campaign led by the dreaded Witch King of Angmar. In these frozen wastes and rugged highlands, ancient kingdoms once stood proud, their splendor etched into the annals of history. But now they faced the merciless onslaught of dark forces as the Witch King's armies advanced with brutal determination, leaving only devastation in their wake. In the stark, unforgiving terrain of Angmar, bitter battles raged beneath a sky, perpetually shrouded in a pall of storm and sorrow. The Witch King, cloaked in impenetrable darkness, and bearing the cursed Morgul blade, marshaled his legions with a cold, unyielding fury. His presence was like a bitter wind, chilling the hearts of men and silencing the proud voices of ancient peoples. Every step of his campaign was marked by ruthless precision, a calculated move to crush any spark of resistance that dared to flicker in the icy expanse. Great cities, once bastions of civilization and hope, fell beneath the weight of this relentless force. Fornost, the ancient capital of the northern realms, now lay in ruin, its once mighty walls, which had withstood the tests of time and the trials of countless wars, crumbled like brittle stone under the siege of the Witch King's forces. In the midst of its fallen grandeur, desperate defenders fought with the valor of doomed heroes, but even their courage could not stem the tide of darkness. The city's proud towers, its bustling streets, and its vibrant markets, all were silenced by the overwhelming might of the Dark Legions, leaving only echoes of despair in the smoldering ruins. Across the northern plains, the free peoples of old, dwarves, men, and even a few scattered elves, found themselves forced into a bitter and chaotic flight. The once great kingdoms that had flourished in the age of legend were scattered like leaves before a cold, indifferent wind. Families were torn apart, and communities that had stood for centuries were reduced to fragmented remnants, struggling to survive in a land where hope was as rare as the last ember of a dying fire. Amid the bitter clashes and the ruinous aftermath, the Witch King's campaign revealed not only his martial prowess, but also the depth of the darkness he embodied. His forces, comprised of orcs, trolls, and twisted minions of sorrow, marched with an almost supernatural precision. Their tactics were as ruthless as they were relentless, striking swiftly at isolated settlements, decimating entire battalions and leaving behind a trail of blood and charred earth. Each victory was a stark reminder that in the north, the cost of defiance was measured in leaves and legacies. The northern devastation was not solely the result of brute force. It was also a manifestation of ancient curses long forgotten by time. Curses that had lain dormant beneath the ice and stone, waiting for the call to awaken. As the Witch King advanced, eerie phenomena began to haunt the battlefields. The winds carried mournful whispers, voices of the fallen echoing through the desolate plains. In the twilight, beneath a cold, indifferent sky, spectral figures moved among the ruins, a silent testament to the countless souls lost to the darkness. These apparitions, neither fully alive nor truly at rest, were a somber reminder that the Northern Campaign was not only a conquest of flesh and stone, but also a reclamation of the very spirit of those ancient lands. For the free peoples who survived these bitter conflicts, the price was immeasurable. Their homes were reduced to rubble, and their histories, painstakingly built over generations, were rewritten in sorrow and despair. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming darkness, pockets of resistance endured. Small bands of warriors, hardened by loss and driven by an unyielding will to reclaim what was once theirs, continued to fight. Each skirmish, each desperate act of defiance, a fragile spark against the consuming night. In the aftermath of these cataclysmic events, the northern realms were forever changed. The once proud cities lay in ruins, their scattered survivors haunted by memories of valor and loss. The Witch King's campaign left a legacy of deep and lasting scars, a grim chapter in the saga of Middle-earth that would serve as a stern warning to all who might dare challenge the might of darkness. For every victory achieved by the dark forces, the free peoples paid a heavy toll, a toll measured not only in shattered stone and spilled blood, but in the very spirit of a world that had known light and life. Thus, the Northern Campaign stands as a vivid, standalone account of devastation, a tale of relentless conquest, bitter battles, and the heavy cost of defiance in a realm where hope struggled to endure. In the frozen silence that followed, the echoes of fallen kingdoms whispered a mournful warning that even the greatest legacies could be undone by the relentless, crushing weight of ancient, unyielding darkness. In the quiet mists of legend and fate, a child was born whose destiny would ripple through the ages, a child whose birth was as mysterious as the ancient prophecies that foretold his coming. Aragorn, known later as Strider and ultimately crowned king, entered the world under a sky tinged with destiny. His arrival was marked by an uncanny omen. A rare stone of green was seen gleaming in the twilight, a symbol of hope and renewal that foretold his future greatness. This green stone, radiant and pulsating with a life of its own, was whispered among the seers as a harbinger of change, a promise that the light of hope would never be wholly extinguished. Raised in the hidden sanctuary of Rivendell, Aragorn's early life was one of both wonder and discipline. The sanctuary of the Elves, cradled by ancient mountains and shrouded in perpetual twilight, became his home and his training ground. Under the wise tutelage of Elrond and other elven mentors, he absorbed not only the lore of the Eldar, but also the subtle arts of swordsmanship, healing, and the ancient languages that bound the peoples of Middle-earth together. In those luminous halls, Every lesson was a step towards unlocking the latent power within him, a power destined to lead, to unite, and to protect. The days in Rivendell were as much a time of quiet study as they were of fierce training. Aragorn's youthful days were filled with the soft cadence of elven song, the rustle of ancient trees, and the measured cadence of the water that trickled through the hidden glens. Here, among scholars and warriors alike, he learned the weight of history and the delicate balance between mercy and might. His instructors, wise in the ways of both the gentle and the grand, instilled in him an enduring reverence for life, even as they steeled him for the perils of a world fraught with darkness. Even as he honed his skills, Aragorn's early encounters hinted at a destiny that far exceeded the quiet, secluded life of Rivendell. On one fateful day, while journeying through the sprawling elven woods that bordered the hidden valley, he chanced upon a gathering of ancient beings, their eyes filled with a secret, ageless sorrow. In their quiet, knowing glances, he perceived a glimpse of the future, a future where his very presence would bridge worlds and kindle hope in the hearts of the fallen. Though he could not yet grasp the full measure of his destiny, the seeds of greatness were sown within him, nurtured by every whispered prophecy and every gentle touch of elven lore. The emotional intensity of his upbringing was tempered by moments of quiet introspection. In the stillness of Rivendell's twilight, Aragorn would wander alone by the Silverlode River, his thoughts as deep and turbulent as the water itself. In those solitary moments, he contemplated the ancient prophecies, the elusive stone of green that had heralded his birth, and the seemingly insurmountable challenges that lay ahead. The weight of expectation pressed upon him, a silent call to rise above the limits of mortal frailty and embrace a destiny that was both awe-inspiring and profoundly burdensome. Every lesson, every encounter, every hardship in his early years served to forge in Aragorn a resilience and a resolve that would one day define his rule. His training with the elves instilled in him a love for beauty and art, a respect for the timeless elegance of nature that would later guide his wise and just reign. He learned that true strength was not measured solely in battle, but in the ability to inspire, to heal, and to lead with a compassionate heart. These early experiences, imbued with both light and shadow, set him on a path that was as much about inner growth as it was about external conquest. In time, the whispers of destiny grew louder, and Aragorn began to understand that his life was not his own. The echoes of ancient prophecies, the sight of the fabled stone of green, and the gentle guidance of his elven mentors converged to reveal a future that would see him rise from the guise of a wandering ranger to the mantle of kingship. His story was poised to become one of the great epics, a saga where the unassuming, humble roots of a child from Rivendell would blossom into a legacy that would unite diverse peoples and stand as a bulwark against the encroaching darkness of a fractured world. Thus, in the sacred halls of Rivendell, amidst the echoing songs of the Eldar and the quiet determination of a young man, the journey of Aragorn began. His rise was not marked by the clamor of war, but by the steady, unwavering call of destiny, a call that would one day echo across the lands of Middle-earth, heralding the dawn of a new era where hope and unity would prevail against the relentless forces of darkness. Under the vast expanse of a star-flecked sky, Aragorn, once known as Strider, later as Thorongil, found himself ever more deeply entwined with the fate of Middle-earth. In the days following his training in Rivendell, he emerged as a shadowy figure of quiet determination, serving in both Rohan and Gondor under various guises. By day, he walked the hidden paths of the wild as Strider, a lone ranger whose unassuming presence belied the weight of destiny that he bore. By night, in the corridors of war and whispered secrets, he adopted the name Thorongil, a name that carried with it the echoes of ancient lore and the burden of a future yet to be claimed. In Rohan, where the wind-swept plains spoke of old battles and honor, Aragorn proved his worth through daring raids on enemy encampments. His silent strikes against marauding foes were executed with the precision of a master tactician, each action imbued with a quiet urgency that hinted at his hidden purpose. In these moments, his eyes burned with an inner light, a reflection of a destiny he could not yet fully comprehend. The horses of Rohan thundered across the open fields, their hooves a steady drumbeat in the epic march toward a greater cause, as Aragorn's leadership forged alliances among the hardy men whose spirits, though weathered by endless strife, yearned for unity and hope. Across the borders of Gondor, under the shadow of looming mountains and the relentless threat from Mordor, Aragorn moved like a specter of resolve. Disguised as a wanderer, he silently observed the fractures within the realm, the whispered fears of a dark power gathering beyond the borders. In secret council with trusted allies, he laid the groundwork for future resistance, a network of kinship and loyalty that stretched across the fractured lands. His actions were measured, deliberate, and carried the weight of destiny as he silently prepared to assume the mantle of guidance and protection for those who would soon rally against the encroaching darkness. Every step of his journey was marked by trials that tested both his physical prowess and his inner strength. The roads were fraught with dangers, ambushes by orcs lurking in shadowed glens, and the ever-looming menace of the forces of Mordor, whose sinister designs threatened to overrun the free peoples of Middle-earth. Yet, with every confrontation, Aragorn's resolve grew, tempered by the fire of battle and the cold clarity of loss. His wounds, both seen and unseen, became the scars of experience, etching upon his soul the harsh lessons of a world teetering on the brink of despair. It was during these perilous times that fate called him to join a quest of unprecedented magnitude in a moment that seemed to reverberate with the weight of countless forgotten legends. Aragorn received the word of a secret council, an assembly of the free peoples determined to confront the rising darkness of Mordor. The news reached him in hushed tones, whispered by weary travelers, and echoed in the silent halls of ancient fortresses. It was here, in the convergence of hope and dread, that the seeds of the Fellowship of the Ring were sown. In the heart of this gathering, beneath vaulted ceilings and amidst the flickering light of torches, Aragorn emerged only as a formidable warrior, but as a guide and protector. His experiences as Strider and Thorongil, the countless battles fought and allies won, had prepared him for this moment of destiny. With a solemn nod and eyes that held the promise of unyielding courage, he joined the nascent fellowship, a diverse band of men, elves, dwarves, and hobbits united by a singular purpose: to guard the One Ring and defeat the dark power that sought to engulf the world. The formation of the fellowship was both awe-inspiring and deeply moving. In that hallowed chamber, every member carried their own burdens and hopes, yet they were bound together by an unspoken understanding that their fates were intertwined. Aragorn's role, both as a mentor to the younger souls and as a silent sentinel against the gathering storm, was imbued with the gravitas of destiny. His presence lent strength to the trembling hearts of those who doubted, and his quiet determination served as a beacon in the growing darkness. As the fellowship departed, their faces etched with determination and sorrow. The weight of their mission pressed upon Aragorn with a force as relentless as the march of time. The threat from Mordor loomed ominously, a dark cloud that would test the very limits of their courage and unity. Yet, in that moment of shared resolve, the bonds of the fellowship shone like a guiding star, a testament to the enduring power of hope amidst despair. Thus, on that fateful day, as Aragorn set forth with the fellowship at his side, the journey toward destiny began in earnest. Every step taken, every whispered vow of allegiance, was a step toward reclaiming a world shadowed by darkness, a world where the light of valor and unity might at last prevail. Deep beneath the towering peaks of the misty mountains, the fellowship began its descent into the forgotten depths of Moria, a labyrinthine realm once resplendent with the glory of the Dwarven age. As they stepped through a narrow, crumbling passage, the very air seemed to thicken with ancient sorrow. The corridors, carved millennia ago by steadfast hands, now lay shrouded in oppressive darkness and eerie silence, broken only by the faint drip of water, echoing like distant lamentations. Every step forward was a journey into the unknown, where the ghosts of lost glory whispered warnings in the cold, unyielding stone. The once magnificent halls of Kazad-Doom, now but a memory of grandeur, emerged from the gloom like a decaying dream. The majestic columns, worn smooth by the passage of time, stood as silent sentinels to a forgotten era. Shadows clung to the walls, dancing in the wavering light of the dwindling torches, and an otherworldly chill pervaded the atmosphere. Here, in this forsaken necropolis of the dwarves, the weight of history pressed upon every heart, a reminder that the cost of ambition was often measured in blood and sorrow. It was in this stifling spectral darkness that the unthinkable occurred. A low, infernal rumble began to rise from the depths, a sound that seemed to shatter the very silence, heralding the awakening of a primordial terror. As the fellowship pressed onward, the rumble crescendoed into a deafening roar, and from the heart of the abyss emerged Duran's bane, a Balrog, cloaked in roaring flames and wreathed in seething shadows. Its colossal form loomed with a dreadful majesty, its eyes burning like twin coals of despair. The creature moved with an almost otherworldly grace, each step igniting the very air and sending tremors through the ancient foundations of Moria. Amid the chaos that ensued, Gandalf, the venerable wizard whose wisdom had guided them thus far, stood resolute at the forefront, his eyes, reflecting both sorrow and unwavering determination, met the Balrog's blazing gaze. In that heart-stopping moment, as fire and darkness collided with ancient might, Gandalf raised his staff and declared with a voice that trembled like the last echo of a dying star, "You cannot pass." His words, though simple, reverberated throughout the cavern, a defiant proclamation of light in the face of overwhelming despair. The ensuing battle was as tragic as it was epic. Gandalf, standing alone on the narrow stone bridge that spanned a bottomless chasm, became the bulwark between the dark forces and his companions. The Balrog, its fury unbridled and its power seemingly infinite, unleashed torrents of flame and shadow. Their clash was a symphony of destruction. Sword met flame, and the very air trembled with the force of their conflict. Sparks flew like fallen stars, and the sound of clashing powers mingled with the anguished roar of the awakened beast. Every swing of Gandalf's staff, every incantation uttered in defiance, was an act of profound sacrifice. He battled not only for his own life, but for the souls of his friends and the fate of all Middle-earth. The bridge shuddered beneath the weight of their confrontation, as if the ancient stone itself was crying out in agony. For a long, agonizing moment, it seemed as though time itself had halted, a moment suspended between hope and oblivion. Then, in a climactic surge of power and sacrifice, Gandalf and the Balrog plunged together into the darkness below. The world seemed to gasp as the mighty wizard and the fiend were swallowed by the chasm, their fates entwined in a final cataclysmic embrace. In that instant, the balance of hope teetered on the edge of despair. The Fellowship, gripped by a mix of horror and sorrow, stood in stunned silence. The loss of Gandalf was a wound that cut deep into the heart of every soul present, a sacrifice so immense that it echoed like a lament through the ages. Yet, even as grief threatened to overwhelm them, there remained within that darkness a flicker of resolve, a silent promise that Gandalf's sacrifice would not be in vain. The battle with the Balrog was more than a mere clash of might. It was a testament to the noble spirit of sacrifice, the timeless struggle between light and dark, and the profound cost of defying destiny. As the echo of the final clash faded into the depths of Moria, the ancient halls bore silent witness to the tragic folly of those who had dared to disturb the slumber of a primordial terror. Gandalf's sacrifice marked the end of an era in Moria, a turning point after which the once magnificent halls would be forever shrouded in sorrow and loss. In the aftermath, the survivors retreated from the scorched ruins, burdened by the realization that Kazad-Doom had been defiled by their relentless ambition. The once great dwarven stronghold, now a haunted, smoldering relic, was abandoned, a desolate monument to hubris and the inexorable wrath of ancient darkness. Later it would be known as Moria, a name that would echo with sorrow and serve as a grim reminder of the price paid when mortal greed awakens forces best left undisturbed. As the echoes of ancient battles faded into the somber silence of Moria, a new chapter of legend began to stir, a tale not of mortal strife, but of primordial might and ancient creation. Beyond the depths of sorrow and sacrifice, the world of Middle-earth still whispered secrets of its earliest days, when the very fabric of existence was woven by the divine song of Eru Ilúvatar. In the timeless halls before the coming of men and the rising of kingdoms, the Ainur, those immortal spirits of pure light and thought, sang the great music that shaped the cosmos. Each note of that celestial symphony carried the promise of creation, the brilliance of life, and the potential for wonder beyond imagining. Yet even in that harmonious genesis, discord was not unknown. From the heights of divine order, Melkor, the mightiest of the Ainur, harbored a desire not merely to follow, but to dominate and remake the world to his own dark vision. Consumed by envy and ambition, Melkor's heart gradually darkened, and his once resplendent spirit twisted into a force of unyielding malevolence. In his descent into darkness, he introduced a note of discord into the music, a dissonant chord that would echo through the ages and give birth to horrors untold. From this darkened refrain emerged a creation that would forever change the face of the world. The first dragons, these ancient beings, born of Melkor's corrupt ambition, were not simply beasts of flame and fury. They were living manifestations of his malice and pride. Unlike the harmonious creatures of Iru's design, these dragons were born from chaos and the desire to subvert the natural order. Their scales, cold and unyielding, shimmered with an eerie, otherworldly light, a grim counterpoint to the gentle glow of the stars. Their fiery breath, capable of reducing mighty stone to ash, was the physical embodiment of destructive power unleashed by a fallen spirit. In stark contrast to the hopeful melodies that still echoed in the hearts of mortal heroes, the dragons carried with them an aura of ancient terror. Their very presence evoked images of scorched earth and shattered dreams, a reminder that the light of creation could be so easily perverted by darkness. Yet, amid this looming threat, the seeds of hope had not been entirely smothered. The mortal races, with their indomitable will and enduring spirit, began to rise against the encroaching shadow. Even as the first dragons wreaked havoc, tales of valor and defiance emerged among those who dared to dream of a brighter future. The legend of Smaug, the mightiest of these dark creations, would come to epitomize this struggle, a dragon whose name became synonymous with both awe and dread. Smaug's dominion over the lonely mountain was not merely a testament to his vast, destructive power. It was also a stark symbol of the fragility of hope in a world threatened by overwhelming darkness. The stories that would later be told of his cunning, his insatiable lust for treasure, and his eventual downfall are woven into the very fabric of Middle-earth's mythos, a delicate balance between despair and the promise of renewal. In the silent pause between ancient memory and the dawn of a new age, the realm of dragons beckoned with both horror and fascination. The primordial creation myth, born of the music of the Ainur, was now marred by Melkor's dark influence, a legacy of discord that spawned creatures capable of laying waste to entire civilizations. Yet, even as the dragons unleashed devastation, the rising determination of mortal heroes hinted at a future where hope might yet prevail. This transition from the legacy of the Ainur to the dark age of dragons is not merely a tale of ruin, it is a prelude to the epic confrontations that would shape the destiny of all who dwelled in Middle-earth. As the ancient, malevolent nature of the dragons set the stage for a series of legendary battles, the heroic spirit of men, elves, and dwarves began to kindle in defiance of the darkness. Their struggles, marked by moments of sublime courage and heartbreaking sacrifice, promised that even the fiercest of evils could be challenged by the resolute light of hope. Thus, as the narrative of ancient creation gives way to the turbulent age of dragons, one cannot help but feel a stirring of anticipation. The legacy of Melkor's dark designs and the fiery terror of his dragon progeny serve as a poignant reminder of the stakes at hand. A world where the clash between ancient malice and emerging hope would determine the very fate of all existence. And as the first hints of Smaug's tale are whispered on the wind, a deeper, more intricate saga awaits, one that will reveal the full measure of darkness and the enduring power of those who dare to stand against it. In the annals of Middle-earth, few legends inspire as much awe and terror as that of Smaug, the mighty dragon whose rise over Erebor reshaped the destiny of entire realms. From the depths of the lonely mountain, Smaug emerged as an intelligent and fearsome presence, a living conflagration of wrath and cunning that would soon dominate the lands with his fiery might. His vast form, covered in impenetrable scales that shimmered like cursed gold, stretched over the entrance of Erebor like a living sentinel, his eyes burning with a malevolent intelligence that saw far beyond the mere glint of treasure. The very air around him crackled with the heat of his breath, and the echo of his low, rumbling growl could freeze the blood of the bravest warriors. Smaug's dominion over the lonely mountain was complete and unchallenged for many years. Within those stony halls, his hoard of untold riches grew, as legends of his invincibility spread throughout the lands. Yet his reign was not solely defined by destruction. It was also a testament to his calculating mind. Unlike mindless beasts, Smaug possessed an intellect honed by centuries of solitude and relentless hunger. He studied his domain with a meticulous gaze, aware of every hidden passage and every secret nook where an intruder might lurk. His confidence bordered on arrogance, and he reveled in his role as the ultimate guardian of a treasure beyond measure. This dark tale took an unexpected turn when Bilbo Baggins, a humble hobbit whose life had been forever altered by his own fateful journey, found himself drawn into the very heart of this blazing terror. Venturing into the depths of Smaug's lair, Bilbo's courage was tested in the face of overwhelming danger. Amid the glittering hoard of gold and jewels, Bilbo encountered Smaug in a moment that would become the fulcrum of his destiny. The air was thick with the scent of sulfur and ancient despair, as the dragon's deep resonant voice filled the cavern with both menace and mockery. In a clever exchange that showcased both Bilbo's quick wit and Smaug's own pride, the hobbit managed to slip past the dragon's probing questions. With a mix of timid politeness and cunning, Bilbo pressed the conversation, and in the process, he unwittingly revealed a critical weakness in the beast's seemingly impenetrable armor. Amid the intricate interplay of words and veiled threats, Smaug's response betrayed a gap in his otherwise flawless scale, a small, vulnerable patch hidden beneath his underbelly, where his once mighty defenses faltered. That moment of revelation, subtle yet monumental, set the stage for the future downfall of the dragon. The revelation did not remain hidden for long. As the news of Smaug's vulnerability spread like wildfire among the free peoples, hope began to stir where despair had long reigned. It was Bard the bowman, a man of quiet valor and unyielding resolve, who emerged as the instrument of Smaug's ultimate fate. Leading a coalition of brave souls, Bard prepared for the final confrontation with the mighty beast. With a steady hand and a heart full of both sorrow and determination, Bard took up his fabled black arrow, a weapon that had been passed down through generations as a symbol of hope against overwhelming darkness. The confrontation was both swift and cataclysmic, as Smaug, blinded by his own hubris, roared in defiance. Bard's arrow found its mark, striking the exposed, vulnerable patch that Bilbo had so inadvertently revealed. In that moment, Time seemed to slow as the arrow soared through the charged air, a silver bolt of destiny that shattered the dragon's invincible facade. With a roar that shook the very foundations of Erebor, Smaug faltered. The mighty dragon, so long the master of the lonely mountain, began a slow, agonizing descent into ruin, his immense form collapsing amidst the echoing clamor of a world reeling from the fall of its greatest terror. The fall of Smaug sent shockwaves far beyond the ruined halls of Erebor. His demise shifted the balance of power in Middle-earth, opening the door for new alliances and long-awaited reckonings. With the dragon's reign of terror ended, the free peoples, men, dwarves, and elves alike, found renewed hope. The rich hoard of the lonely mountain, once a symbol of desolation and fear, now became a beacon for the resurgence of prosperity and unity. Leaders emerged, and long-standing rivalries began to mend as the threat of darkness receded, if only for a time. In the reflective silence that followed the cataclysm, the legacy of Smaug's downfall took on a life of its own, a reminder of both the perils of unchecked greed and the redemptive power of courage. Bard's arrow, a simple yet profoundly decisive act, had not only brought down a monster, but had also ignited a chain of events that would reshape alliances and heal ancient wounds. The triumph was bittersweet, marred by the heavy cost of countless sacrifices and the enduring scars left by centuries of terror. Thus, the epic confrontation with Smaug stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of heroism, a reminder that even the darkest of evils can be vanquished by the courage of a few determined souls. As the dust settled and new dawn broke over Middle-earth, the fall of Smaug set the stage for a future where hope, unity, and the enduring power of legend would forever guide the free peoples in their quest for peace and prosperity.